Or Sam. How's it going, Chris? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Carmen.
Yeah.
Good to see you, as always and forever. I'm feeling pretty good right now. We just had a lovely steak dinner, and yeah, let's get to it. All right, so first part of the podcast episodes, we usually go with material, practical issues. And I don't mean like personal material practical issues. I just mean like generally universal.
Yeah.
So far, I get that. Wait, let me just use my quote unquote intuition for a second. I'm getting that a lot of people are concerned with relationship stuff. They may not talk about it, but I feel like people are, for the most part, concerned with relationship stuff. Not that anything's going wrong in collective relationships. I just feel like people are just at this phase where they're putting more thought into it. There's couples out there that have been dating for 9 months, and the woman is probably at this point thinking like, is he ever gonna just propose? There's some couples that have been married for 9 years, and they're just like, do I even want to be married anymore? But I just feel like this is the general vibe I get, that people are just thinking about their relationships and whatnot. I mean, even like if you're a political guy, you look at all these political dudes you hate and love, and they're all married and whatever. And if you're just some like chud or larper or some tanky on Twitter and you're single, and even all your avatars have like happy relationships, it's gonna make you question it too, right? Even as a 4chaner, like JD Vance has a hot Indian wife.
He does.
Even Donald Trump is still married to that.
Yeah, he found the right one with Melania.
Mm-hmm. He really
Third
did.
time's the charm, clearly.
Yep.
This feels so anecdotal or selection bias heavy. Whether you know a lot of single people, you know a lot of married people, the kind of relationship dynamics.
I know too much of both. I think it's because it's a product of aging.
Yeah.
Like now that I'm in my mid 30s, pretty much, like I have a lot of friends who are perpetually single. I have a lot of friends who are serial monogamous. I have a lot of friends who are happily married. More interestingly, though, I like listening to the friends who are unhappily married. Like I love hearing their stories.
I don't know anyone unhappily married.
Not yet.
Not yet. I know a ton of people, almost the vast majority of people I know are single, chronically single.
Well, that's just because you yourself are you're relatively young man, I guess.
I think my friend group has selected for guys who tend to be single.
I don't think that's true. I mean, I think it's not your friend group. It's just you personally that's selected. That's selected for that.
Yeah, I suppose that works. Yeah. Or by selective, I mean like it's just a bias or it's an artifact. A data point based on who I know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's probably going to change all of that real soon. It's because, all of that is probably going to change real soon because we're going to get a Democrat as a president. And for some reason or another, people just happen to get really promiscuous and slutty. Yeah. And by people, I mean women, because women are the gatekeepers of sex.
Yeah, they are.
So, yeah, when there's a Democrat president who is acting and sitting president, it's just people just get really slutty. I don't know what it is. Actually, I do know what it is, but it's not really worth like explaining unless you want to explain it.
I don't know. Elaborate. Is it just abortion-related stuff? Is it just cultural stuff? Is it women being more liberal?
That's why
women leaning Democrats, so single women leaning Democrat, so they're more comfortable or more excited or more bold about things when a Democrat.
They feel like they could do less wrong when a Democrat is president. Whereas when a Republican is president, they're always thinking about, look at all these fucking, pro-life freaks. Look at all these Christian freaks. Look at all these slut shamers. Look at all these men, these women-hating men. And you don't get that when, as much when Biden is president or when Obama is president.
Yeah. I don't know. I was too young during Clinton and George W. Bush to say.
Life was better when Bush was president. Better cartoons, better music, better movies.
I mean,
but but also
The
like
big factor is that
the trade-off is 9/11.
I mean, I wasn't in New York. I know it was devastating here. Or really, it was just a big drama for a few days.
Yeah, but it was the start of a lot of shit.
Yeah. When
I mean, this is all your business now because you're a New Yorker now. So
that's true. I'm just thinking it over. I think the biggest rupture point is still social media, smartphones, the internet being mainstream. Maybe I'm biased as someone who just spent so much time online and thinking that.
I mean, as an American, we're definitely the first to be truly like online as a culture.
Yeah, it happened like half a generation earlier in Japan.
Did it?
Yeah, Japan was like widely online in the 90s.
Interesting.
Like, this is why when you were, well, I was
I mean,
really
because like
struck
no,
when
no,
I
the way I
watched.
see it is that Americans were online from the beginning. However, they weren't culturally online from the beginning. It was mostly like specialists who were online. And
Yeah, I mean, the internet is emerging here. It's like in the 80s and stuff, you had internet culture.
I mean, you had a lot of people on the internet, but they were all like esoterically educated on like computer science and
No, there were guys
protocols.
in computer science labs. I know I've referenced this before, but like an older friend of mine was an extremely online guy in the 80s when he went to college and he was in the computer lab all the time. And he's told me that like the internet dynamics of like Plato terminals, going to Usenet, going to the World Wide Web are very similar. It was just a very small, highly educated population that was online initially.
So therefore, you were basically just accessing like highly technical information mostly, not like shit posts and memes.
You familiar with the term Eternal September?
No.
When America Online came out, it was coined Eternal September by people who had already been online for a while. And the reason why was that if you were using like college computer lab terminals to shitpost, the quality of
On
discussion... What?
Shit posts on what?
Like Plato terminals?
Oh, Plato terminals. Okay.
I think, or whatever. I don't know exactly. I should know this since I'm referencing it. But I do know that
It must have been exciting as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
look at the handshake set on your computer terminal.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, someone left something here. And then you read it and
Yeah.
you're like, well, this is just a
Well,
cake
apparently,
recipe. Like,
and he said this, I've heard this from other old timers, that September, when you had a new freshman class come in, a bunch of noobs would get online for the first time, and they all had the same dynamics. And they all like the quality of conversation would deteriorate a bit every September. And then people got used to it, and then like for the rest of the year until next September is pretty good.
but then when AOL came out, it just it was like indefinitely like
Yes,
stupid.
exactly.
Yeah.
Indefinitely, there's always noobs on the internet.
America Online. Shit. AOL was a psyop. Well, AOL was a government thing for sure.
I mean, the government thing is the initial internet is a government thing. And
What was AOL then?
AOL was like a mainstream commercial thing.
What, like a Time Warner cable or some shit?
Yeah, I mean, it was with phone lines, but yeah.
What did they turn into? They gotta still be around.
I don't know, you get a modem.
Now it's, well, they still have like there's still like a website, I guess.
Yeah, there is, but what would be the AOL? Let's see. American
They were originally
Web.
CVC, Control Video Corporation, as an American web portal and online service provider. Now, oh, they became Yahoo
Were bought by Yahoo, right?
yeah. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so Yahoo, AOL to Yahoo. Okay. AOL was probably just the government psyop, and then some private entity was like, "Hey, we'll take that off your hands." People still use Yahoo too, surprisingly enough. It's just
Old people, yeah. Old people that still have a Yahoo mail account.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
I like people with Hotmail accounts.
Mm-hmm. Um.
Do you want a Terrorisk Works email account? Because I have those.
I'm okay with my Gmail.
No, I mean you could have another email account. That's just.
Hmm.
It's just nice to
That
have
isn't
your.
getting,
It's
that's
just,
true. That isn't getting spam with whatever things I
Yeah.
signed up for.
It's nice to have like a fucking your own hosting and domain.
Hmm. Um. I don't know, the dynamics of the internet going from something that only a small number of people were into to everyone being online all the time, lowbrow form is really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
I don't even know if.
Angel Fire.
Yeah, those are just millennial nostalgia pieces, but yeah.
But the real, I guess, OG internet shit would be more akin to like something that looks like. I don't even know. This is before my time.
Mm-hmm. It is before our time. We think of what we were doing.
No, I mean I already know it's like what we think of as like OG internet is not really OG internet.
It was like Internet 2.0 or
Yeah.
3.0, whatever. 2.0.
right after the OG internet, you know.
Yeah, as opposed to Usenet lists or whatever.
I mean, the real game changer, let's be honest, like what really put internet on the map for normies, and I hate this, but I'm not, just because I hate this factor doesn't mean I'm going to run away from the truth. What really put like the internet on the map for normies was access to porn.
Yeah, that makes sense. Often a leader in things. I think it was the leader in video streaming, even before YouTube, or
And the
it was like
first thing-
overlapping with YouTube.
And the first thing was internet porn. That was the big first thing. Like, yeah, dudes literally like putting porn, like, pinups on like through a scanner and like posting the scans onto, and it was like so funny. Like you had to render it. It was like,
Yeah.
So you got to see the tits first, and you're like, oh, it's happening. But then if something gets fucked up with your connection, like it stops halfway, and you're like, no, I almost got Bush.
Yeah.
Either way.
Feels like an earlier internet favorite, tits over ass.
Yeah.
Once broadband made it possible to have an ass-focused internet pornography.
That's true. Like it wasn't until that. Yeah, you're right. Like back in the day, like it was more knockers based because that's all the internet connection was able to render at a time.
Yeah.
And now since like you were able to render all of it at once, it's like, oh yeah, asses, of course. Like.
Yeah.
And then it becomes feet. As the internet connection gets
Oh,
better, you go
wow, you're
lower in
right.
the body.
Yeah.
Damn. We're fucking geniuses, bro. We're just retarded geniuses. That's what we are. But anyway, on the same vein, it started with like porn on the internet, and then it was porn on your mobile devices. Like as soon as we got color screen cell phones, like color screen.
Well, you mean smartphones.
No, I mean, we had color screen phones before smartphones. That's when porn started actually hitting our phones.
I guess, yeah.
You don't remember the first color screen Nokia or the first color screen Motorola's?
I jumped from a very simple flip phone to a smartphone. I'm missing this part.
My first phone was
I had an old ass flip phone for a long time, and then I just got a smartphone.
My phones were like somewhere in between. My first phone was somewhere in between the smartphone and the flip phone.
Yeah.
It was like this weird bastard era of like
Aughts phones, yeah.
I actually really enjoyed them. Like the first Motorola Razors.
Yeah,
those were awesome. But then the Sidekick came out.
Yeah.
Like people don't understand how significant. Well, because they think about the BlackBerry, because all the dudes with money had the BlackBerry, but the Sidekick was the real like blue collar, like smart.
Well, yeah, and for teens or whatever, Blackberries were like a professional thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, once
Obama
the BlackBerry
was described as being addicted to his BlackBerry, but it's because it was like 2008, 9 or whatever.
Yeah, once the BlackBerry proved as a working concept for the elite, then they knew the Sidekick would work. Well, then everyone knew the Sidekick would work. But then, like after the between all this, there's also another third factor that we don't really consider, which was a PDA. Is that what they call it? Or a PCD,
PDA, personal device assistant, whatever.
Yeah, and that was also another big a big hurdle that we don't. There's also other ones too, like the beeper, but the PDA was a very overlooked unsung hero. Those things were the Palm Pilot. Like those things were cool.
This is one of those things we had like a 20-year period of rapid innovation, like from 1990
The Dreamcast
to 2010. And then it's just been basically the same kind of smartphone with incremental changes and advancements since then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Similar, you're right, to polygons where like there's massive leaps every video game generation, and then it just like sort of has stagnated.
Yeah. I like, when you're older, you start to appreciate those periods of like stagnation. You're like, oh, thank God I could catch breath. Make heads or tails of this. Meanwhile, kids don't care. They'll just latch on to whatever's hot now. Like I did. But yeah, I mean, the main thing though was that information traveled faster. That was the main important thing. Once information started traveling faster, then everyone from the most degenerate asshole to the most highfalutin elite was able to do a lot more.
Sorry. All of these changes are tied into like formative years. As in, like, up until my mid-20s, that I don't know, 10 years after my mid-20s, I feel fairly, I've undergone a bunch of changes. I feel fairly consistent in a way. The difference between 10 and 15, 15 and 20, 20 and 25, all of those increments were way bigger leaps than between 25 to 30, 30 to 35.
Not for me. I feel like shit's still changing for me because, like, in my 20s, if you told me it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna be, people are gonna start calling you sensei one day, and you're gonna teach martial arts, you're gonna teach Japanese swordsmanship, I would have been like, what? Get the fuck out of here. But then now at 34, it's like, yeah, it's like my reality, and maybe I'll feel the same way in my 40s. Like, it's like if you told me you would have ran your own dojo back in your 30s, you would have been like, get out of here, bro.
I feel like that's a natural progression from where you are. I don't think it would be as surprising.
All right, what about in my 20s and you told me it's like you're going to do a podcast one day? I would have been like, get the fuck out of here. That shit's lame. And now here I am doing it.
Well, let's see. 10 years ago, podcasts were already taking off, so I don't think it would be that surprising.
I only wanted to do a podcast when I started driving and I started listening to like radio talk show hosts. And like when I started driving, I listened and it pissed me off. Yeah. Because like I remember when I was a little kid in like the 90s, late 90s, I was like, they were so much better back then. And then I listen to like NPR now. I'm like, this is garbage.
Yeah, it's falling off, but also people just don't listen to radio the same way. I think I saw a tweet recently that said like, oh, it's only 2% of college students listen to NPR.
Yeah.
Whereas like 20 years ago, it was like 40%.
Yeah. So then,
but also there's just so many, if you're a worldly and curious college student in 2005, you don't, I mean, you have an internet connection, but if you really want to listen to or discover, I don't know, world music, the only place or the best place to go is to listen to NPR. Now you can very immediately search out what you're looking for very quickly. A very standard trend within the internet. Same factor with us not having defined subcultures anymore or countercultures. Everyone's just fractured into all their little niches.
Yeah, but I didn't even really care about the novelty in terms of like fucking like Mochi, like world music or whatever. I cared more about like the talkers, like the people who are actually like providing the dot, because they did some funny shit. They did crank calls sometimes. They made me laugh.
Yeah,
made me think. And it's like, what happened to those guys? That's when I realized they went from radio to podcasts.
They did, and it's like a different format, obviously. But
it's more comprehensive.
Yeah, it is.
And it's also like at some point, it's like, I remember times as a kid, it's like, I wish the song wouldn't come on because I heard these songs a million times this month. It's like, I just want to hear these guys talk. Now it's like with podcasting, it's like you get just that.
Yeah, and you get exactly what you want. Yeah, there's kind of like an overlap. Okay, this is going to be a stretch maybe. But remember the RTS genre?
Real-time strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those don't exist anymore.
They got replaced with like
Basically different elements of them split off into subgenres.
there's a
Like,
story focused ones like Stellaris kind of
grand strategy games such as
or
Stellaris.
4X.
Right. Well, hold on, give me a second here. Stellaris, Europa Universalis, etc. That's like the real macro level and chilling out, blobbing, all that.
The Paradox games.
But yeah, Paradox games provide that. The competitive, micro intense focus, instead of being stressed out microing 12 different Hydralisks, you can play League of Legends and you're only microing one hero or like a few. If you're very focused on base building, you have all the like Factorio.
It's splintered.
Yeah.
RTS itself.
Splintered into subgenres. Another factor probably is that advancing technology made it less viable of a genre. StarCraft 2 frankly looks like dog shit next to StarCraft 1. StarCraft 2 professional players play it on lowest graphic settings because it is too much of an eye bleed otherwise to play.
You might as well make it look like a spreadsheet.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just too many lights, too many particles.
Like imagine
Like
being such a high level StarCraft player. It's like the user interface is just a distraction. Just give me like a basic GUI with like not even images or sprites. Just give me like raw data.
Right.
And maybe it's like I don't even see sprites anymore. All I see is like Zerg.
I feel like the 90s RTSs were like a sweet spot that allowed the genre to thrive. Age of Empires 2.
But Age of Empires wasn't. It's the ubiquitous game, but it wasn't never competitive.
What, Age of Empires? Yes, it was.
Was it?
Yeah, Age of Empires was a big competitive one. Basically, it was like StarCraft and Age of Empires 2 were the competitive ones.
StarCraft, obviously.
Yeah, StarCraft was the huge competitive one. Second one is Age of Empires 2.
Damn. But now it's like, I think more people are making money playing video games than back then, though.
Oh, way more, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're just doing streams of like FPSs.
But it's the same concept as like listening to the radio and like wanting to hear.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's the reason why you have certain personalities that are big figures, though. It's like, what are they doing exactly?
Like Hassan Piker.
Yeah.
Osmond Gold. And Sweet Anita. Well, she's got the shtick. If you
I am not familiar.
Explain
Sweet Anita to me and what you don't want to talk about. I'm going to grab a pipe cleaner and more tobacco.
All right, Sweet Anita is the streamer with Tourette's, and she does the cute Tourette's though.
Interesting.
So it's probably more marketable. Well, because she's a cute girl. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, with streamers, if I was a streamer, what do you think my gimmick would be?
Yeah, I'm not certain. Like you're a broy, not broy, I don't know, spiritual bro. I don't know if that's the right way of putting it.
I'm just a well-rounded person.
Yeah. Well, you're a unique, interesting individual that not a lot of people have seen. Or maybe they will have seen it if they're used to New York, but not otherwise.
I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of people like me. But that's
no,
fine.
there really aren't at all. So that's the thing. I think it's like you're such a unique figure.
I'm like Tigger.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I could stream. As long as if I have like a few consistent friends to game with, I could stream. And I think I finally found it. But
yeah.
Anything.
I don't know, with streamers, what exactly is the dynamic? Because I might just be too old to understand the appeal. It's like someone else is playing. Well, I'm guessing part of the appeal is that you're in a community in like the chat or the super chat, whatever. Like,
all right. So when we think of streamers in our context, we usually think of the one guy behind the webcam, right? But that's not all streaming. Most streaming now is like more than one person. Like it's like imagine me and you were like video conferencing over like Google Chat or something.
Yeah.
And we recorded that as a stream, like or stream that live.
Yeah.
Like that would count as a stream. That would be being a streamer. Now I think like with the appeal of it, I used to be like that where I didn't get it, but now it's like I understand, especially when you add another person than just the one streamer.
Mm-hmm.
You ever listen to like Cumtown?
Yes.
And then you like, yeah. You ever listen to Cumtown and they said something and you were just screaming at it and you wish they heard you?
Yeah.
Right?
There's multiple times with Cumtown where I wanted to correct them on something.
But with streaming, you can do that. Streaming is like the podcasting where if you're there to catch the stream, then you could scream at them like in the comments, and then they will respond to it.
You know, it's basically like call and talk radio without the same restrictions and without the queue of a limited number of people being able to talk and them filtering out people.
It makes so much more sense that way, because like once I figured that out, I was like, oh, this is
it's like a TV you yell at and yells at.
Because I didn't get it until I was being streamed, and then people were like talking at me, and then I saw the comments as they were saying it, and then I was responding, and I was like, oh, this is why they like it, because you're, you know, it's like it's like, imagine like you're seeing a motivational speaker talk. But it's like anyone gets to say shit at the motivational speaker. It doesn't disrupt the speaker, but the speaker has a chance of responding, you know? That's a pretty sweet deal for entertainment, you know? So that's the appeal of streaming. And it gets even more enticing when the streamer knows you. Like when they recognize your handle and they get bigger, and then they recognize you and they're like, oh, Carmen, good to see you on the stream. It's good to see you. Aki Bowles, 421. Good to see you. Thank you for the gifts. Yeah. Thank you for the free memberships. You know, today we're going to talk about, oh, it's good to see you there, Bob. I haven't seen you in a bit. How are the kids? You know, because like you build a relation. It's not really parasocial, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's the appeal. That's the enticing part. You know, and you could see how this is like parasitic, where like a lot of kids who may never have grown up with a father or a loving family can glom onto streamers and streamer communities really easily, because it's not just they're talking at the streamer, they're also talking amongst themselves, you know?
I was gonna say talking amongst themselves is probably a huge factor here, is that it's providing community.
Yep.
You can grow up with a loving father, but if you don't have any friends in real life, maybe I'm speaking from personal experience.
Maybe, you're right. Maybe you don't even like your dad, and meanwhile, the streamer community.
I mean, I love my dad, but I didn't have friends in real life.
I mean, like any other person.
No, I know. I'm wondering. I mean, I might be projecting on other people, but yes, like you can have a perfectly happy home life, but I mean, look, what I'm getting at is this a surrogate, or rather, it's not even a surrogate. It's a social community.
Maybe if you were born a little later. You would have realized streaming is. You would have not realized. You would have felt like, in your opinion, streaming would be better. It would have like affected you in a different way. And
well, I grew up on a very textual internet. Which is why I have fond memories of message boards.
Yeah, like meme boards and your shit. Like
I'm used to text. So streaming, I don't really like video content, to be honest.
It's not video content though, because what we do is video content. Streaming is more. There's more. It's like comparing a movie to a play.
Yeah. It is like comparing a movie to a play. Yeah, maybe it's just my age. Maybe it's just when I grew up in my formative years. A streamer is just inherently less appealing than a message board to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's like one of those environments where it's like, I'm not talking outright like a guy on a podium, but I'm not exactly talking about like a bunch of people like just randomly listening to one guy speak. There's something in between that, you know, where it's like people gather at this one space for the specific intent of gathering there, knowing that this one guy is going to speak, and knowing that more than likely everyone's going to shut the fuck up when he speaks, and some people are free to talk with him and converse with him, but he's going to respond, and his responses are just going to be better.
It's Shire, but it makes sense, actually. I see the appeal.
Is it more ancient, right? Like, they had that shit in Greece.
Well, you know, they did. That was what historically, I mean, it was all physical in real life.
Like, it might be bizarre to us in our modernist.
No, if anything, we just had a brief period of time when this wasn't common. If anything, it's a return to a human norm.
Because what is normal at a party, right? You go to a house party, it shouldn't all just be this weird egalitarian monotone thing. There should be like these figures in certain segments of the house where it's like this crowd gathers around, and one guy could be telling a story about how like he robbed the principal's car. One guy could be doing like, I'm gonna chug the beer in my butt, and they're like, yeah, you know, like one guy's doing
social scenes are often kept alive by a few extroverted people who push to make it happen. Like
Yeah,
oftentimes
maybe they make a spectacle, you know? Like,
yeah.
they-
Oftentimes a social scene, a bunch of people can be good friends.
That's what the
but
rave scene is. If you go to any rave, there's one dude who's really great at dancing. There's one dude who's good at like twirling these sparkly balls. There's one dude who's good at giving like energy massages. There's one dude who's got the drugs. You know, like yeah, it's just like as you said. There's always one person who's like standing out.
You know, in the 19th century, American males would go out to see political debates. And like it was not unusual for political debates to turn into brawls. These debates would be going on for hours.
like
People would
Taiwanese parliament.
yeah,
Yeah,
open to the public, and the public is drinking the entire time.
yeah. That
So-
sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it does. And also, what other forms of entertainment do they have? They could drink at the pub. They could listen. They could read the Bible. They could talk to their wife.
That literally explains parliament.
Yeah.
You want to take a quick break?
All right.
And we're back.
Mm-hmm.
This is to your this is kind of a neutral ground for the podcast as far as who likes what better, but this is where we talk about ideas, concepts, philosophies.
Yeah.
I know what a big concern that I get from peers is questions surrounding homosexuality and feminism.
Yeah.
Because I think, from my personal perspective, I think that people are getting more spiritual. But then as people get more spiritual and become unified and more on the same plane, that still leaves a lot of unaddressed trauma with like crimes against gays, crimes against trans people, crimes against queers, crimes against women, you know? Also that women themselves have you know, crimes that women themselves have committed in the name of feminism. Like maybe abortion actually isn't all that great.
Abortion is something that feels very thrown off by messaging in America.
100%.
Like,
And it's also been thrown off by religion.
yeah.
It's both sides went too far on either end.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's plenty of people who are pro-choice but see it as justified killing.
Yeah, justified homicide. That's like the most moderate take you can have.
It is, and it's
Yeah.
interesting how it's not represented. It's either purely this is the death of an innocent,
Or it's
just a
nothing,
medical
yeah.
procedure that's nothing.
They can't
But
handle the
there's-
idea of like killing someone rightfully, you know? Like
Yeah, and there's probably other side notes to it because I've seen this within my personal experience. I've seen like libertarian guys who are pro-choice but also in favor of shooting a burglar
Yeah.
and killing him even if he's only stealing like
what's the difference?
$20.
He's
Yeah.
practically an infant.
Right, yeah, exactly, because he's black. But it's interesting because it's like a take that people are pro-choice. I can understand this. You don't want someone else turning it into a riot or about other behavior. And I want to emphasize
That's
again,
exactly what's happening though.
yeah, it's that perhaps they don't want to view abortion as justifiable killing, either out of personal guilt or because they know the implications
social
is that a
implications.
bunch of other forms of killing should be justified too.
Yeah.
And that's probably it.
Well, at the very least, like the tempering factor is you die no matter what, whether someone
Yeah.
kills you or whether you die. At this point, it's a long shot. And you know, I just want to say, like, just because the chances of dying, you know, like peacefully in your bed are getting lower, that doesn't necessarily mean you live less longer. Like maybe living like longer means increasing your likelihood of dying a painful and, you know,
Yeah, it does. I'd much rather. I'm glad my dad didn't go to hospice. I'm glad that he was pretty much, even though he was complaining about mental decline, about being forgetful.
oh, dude, I mean, I'm talking beyond that even. Like, what if you did live up to like 150? I'd imagine dying at like 150 is a lot more of a sorted ordeal than dying at 80.
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah, like it's probably a lot more fucked
Would
up.
you spend half a century as a decrepit old man? God,
And it's not just physically, like mentally too.
Yeah.
It's probably a lot worse. You probably die with a lot more sins under your belt. You probably die with a lot more obligations.
Depends on, I guess, on how physically fit you are. Like,
But then again, you know, it's like it's
look,
not,
if you have life extension medicine and suddenly you have 90-year-olds who look and act 60, that's different than life extension where
you look and act like you're 150.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem. There's definitely different kinds of life extension, but I think it's more like it just stretches out the scaling. Like you still get really, really old looking at your final years, but it takes a long while to get there, and it takes a lot longer to develop.
I do meet
transition.
people in their 60s or whatever. They look like, I don't know. My whole sense of time is skewed now.
Like if we had,
you meet people in their 20s who look, people in their 30s who still look youthful.
Oh, I saw that that tweet, by the way. It was like how age, it really is relative. Like age.
Yeah, way more is.
Yeah,
I think it was a Lindy Man tweet, but he's right. It's way more relative now because you don't have clear life. Like people will talk a bunch about someone being immature, about being a grown man, whatever. But people are way more all over the place.
You have 15-year-olds that are more mature than 40-year-olds, and you have 6-year-olds that are less mature than 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are certain clear things about it, like obviously.
I mean, a lot of people look at that and like, this is degeneracy, but I'm like, this is a good thing. I mean, life has to be pretty fucking good to get this way, you know?
Yeah, it does. All those, there's certain hard biological things that are kind of biological things that are looser. Like, puberty is super hard. There's no 10-year-old who's more mature than a 20-year-old, but there are 15-year-olds.
Yeah, there are. There's 10-year-olds who literally had to professionally like shoot men because they were ordered to.
Maybe, yeah, okay, fair. But way more broadly speaking, just purely due to puberty and the like. Like, there's a difference between a precocious child and someone who's a few years older who's lived through a lot. But
yeah, like there's a difference between someone who's like born with Jewish genes and someone who's just raised Jew their whole life.
I guess. Well, yes, but that's neither here nor there.
No, I mean the common thread is nature versus nurture.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know, people like, you look at all those cliches about looking at photographs of World War II veterans and they look so much older. Like a guy who's 25 in 1945 looks like 45 nowadays.
I think the real thing is like a lot of it is fundamentally, actually all of it is fundamentally psychological, mental. It's
a bunch is, you're right. And
preceding lifestyle, even, especially as like a teenager or even an adult, like there's some psychological thing that happens preceding any habit forming behavior.
Yeah. And also people just are living perhaps of widely varied lives that can contribute to that.
What that? Yeah, of course, lifestyle choices. That's what I mean. That's nurture. I mean, the one thing, there's certain things you can't change, like your gender for your, well, I mean, as
Your sex.
Your sex, and then there's also your ethnicity.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Although, to be honest, it's probably easier to change your ethnicity.
Oh, 100%, actually. It's way easier to change your race. And in fact, it's a very curious phenomena that transsexual is so prominent and transracial isn't.
Meanwhile, it's so easy to change your race.
One of my favorite sci-fi novellas, Riders of the Purple Wave, I've certainly mentioned it here. It's about it's a comedy set in a post-scarcity world that has, it's not a dystopia, it's not a utopia. There's elements that are very good and very bad about the society. And it's sort of like, that's just life. But one background cultural detail is that transracial is common in this, like everyone's bisexual in this world.
But you're allowed to be a black person tomorrow.
Right. But there's no mention, or the author, Philip Jose Farmer, did not conceive of transsexual. So there's no mention of transsexuals, but there is a extended part about
he held up the idea of transracial as this novel element that nobody thought of or thought. He's like, I'm going to write a whole story around this. Failing to consider.
Didn't write a whole story around it, but he wrote it sort of as a cultural. A bunch of his cultural predictions are actually kind of on point, but that was a cultural prediction he got wrong.
But failing to consider that people are more likely and inclined to change their gender. But that is more fundamental. Gender is more fundamental than ethnicity.
I think because ethnicity, I think it's more. This is more of a political factor in America than anything. I think the fact that
No.
transracial is like. I think that
Everyone in the world isn't part of like ethnic boundaries, but everyone in the world is a part of the gender binary.
right. The gender binary is a lot harder.
Why?
biologically.
My thing is like, what's your problem with the gender binary?
Me?
Not you. No, not you specifically. I mean,
But
like,
the-
if I were to like come across a person who's like so caught up with like subverting it, I'm like, what the fuck is your problem with it?
Because it's one thing historically, but since the 20th century, why do you care that much?
Yeah, like, dude.
Like here's the thing. If we lived in a society where it was it was unacceptable for women to wear pants, I would understand FTMs more,
Or
right?
not being able to like start a bank, like start a bank account. I mean, like
Yeah.
not being able to get a job, yeah, or not being able to be an author.
Like when I was a kid, I mean, it would be problematic in a small town or whatever. But since I was a kid, if you're in a liberal area and you're a guy who wants to wear a dress all the time,
It's fine, yeah.
people would have looked at you somewhat weird. But yeah, it would have been fine. And you're just like, I'm a feet guy. Like David Bowie was doing that shit in the 70s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it would just be like a bold artistic taste, or if you're like, if you're a man or a woman and you deliberately are going for an androgynous thing, certainly in a big city, that's been more or less acceptable for I don't know, let's say 50 years.
The first guy that came to New York who wore those big shouldered like comical suits in his performances. He was like German or whatever.
Klaus Nomi.
Klaus Nomi. He was, I think, the one of the first progenitors of, at least as far as the West is concerned, like modern-esque, androgynous style. It was.
I mean, frankly, you could say that women starting to wear pants, albeit only like urban, sophisticated women, in the 1920s.
When did women start wearing heels?
Like, there's earlier heels for men and women.
And I was gonna say, wasn't it more for men than women?
Yeah, it was in like the 18th, 19th century. Yeah, because they're coming off of riding boots.
Also,
where you
for
have like a
butchers.
heel. Yeah, you have a heel for that. There's a period of time, like the Ancien regime, France before the revolution, where guys are all wearing heels.
But then again, I know, speaking as a man, it's like one of my favorite trolls is like a woman hating a man is like a poor person hating a billionaire. Like, no shit, just like let them rock, like
Yeah.
your life is already like there was a 50-50 chance of that sucking in that horrible way where you could have been born a woman. Like, what
Yeah,
you're fucking
true.
bitching. Like, don't worry about what the women are doing.
Yeah.
Who cares how loud they scream and shout? Like, they're never going to be born a male, so don't hate on them.
They're never going to find a conversation about your favorite type of sword interesting.
Not even that. It's just, I don't know. It's just like life as a woman is just not appealing to me.
Yeah.
And it's not that, it's not just like, oh, because I like being a guy. It's also like from what women tell me. It's like, yeah, they complain all the time how shitty it is being a woman. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't hate women at all, because to me, it's like that sucks that you're a woman. I'm sorry. Like,
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
But I can never fully get behind a bunch of incel mentality stuff.
But at the same time, if
just
a woman ever
because-
tried to make me feel lesser than her, I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
You only falsely empower yourself because you're lesser. Like, you wouldn't feel a chip on your shoulder if it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I do feel like, everyone's still the same soul living out different lives in different bodies. But if you want to like look at life in this material framework and you want to hone in on gender, fine, let's play that game. But as a woman, you're going to fucking lose that game.
Yeah. I think I have met.
It's like racially, it's
Yeah.
like there's all these games that you're going to win a lot of them and you're going to lose a lot of them. Like, as an Asian straight male, I know what games I'll win and what games I'll lose,
Yeah. Same.
I'm never going to be in the NBA, like,
Yeah.
I get it. As a woman, though, it's like, you got a much broader vector or parameter.
Women are still people, but they're very different kinds of people with different things that
No,
interest
they're
them.
not that different. Because I've seen women interested in martial arts and cars and
Yeah.
video games, programming. Everything I'm really into, women like there's like just as many women into it, I think.
Programming? You're talking about cis women?
Yeah.
I like have almost never met a few times I've met cis women. I've definitely met more trans women into programming.
I know a
than cis
lot of women that are into programming, not as a culture, just
Yeah.
as like
hobby interest.
no, like just shit they do for their job.
Job. Okay, I see.
Like they're like a lot of like a girls your age, their moms could be like sick coding experts, and you would never. They don't look at themselves as like a coder in that culture.
Right, they don't identify. As
and yet
the
they could
thing, it's
probably
with their job.
They could probably script circles around a lot of dudes who identify as like that tech bro coder dude. You know, like it's like that.
You're right, and computing traditionally was like seen as like secretarial.
It
work.
is because
it is. It really is.
What
like,
is
it
coding?
used to be-
It's literally just saying A equals 2. And then like creating chains of those variables and functions between those variables. That's all it is. It's nothing significant. It's nothing like, oh, I'm gonna code and hack in to NORAD. You know, like no, it's not really like that. Like coding is just what I like about it is like I do a lot of bitch work, you know, for as a job, and coding allows me to automate it. You know, it's probably how a lot of women feel, especially in the household. It's like if I could automate this, you know, I would.
Oh, they do with you. You have dishwashers,
exactly, and you know, like
washing machines.
You're probably gonna have bots that could do laundry for them. You know, it's a very feminine inclination. And I agree with it.
Yeah. I have met women who said that they pity men, or they don't pity. They're happy to be women, and they don't mind being women at all. I feel no envy towards men.
Yeah, but I also know a lot of like outspoken women who hate men.
Yeah, I know.
But then I know
too.
a lot of men who hate women. But then those men are like particularly pathetic.
Yeah.
Like they're not like extra pathetic or like not that. No, they're particularly pathetic. Like
I remember I'm talking to an acquaintance about this. I come up. She is an edgy lady, though fairly left, but she said like. I was very struck by this. She said, like, I've never had homicidal rage. Carmen, how many times have you just wanted to kill someone? And I was like, oh, so many times. And she's like, I feel lucky as a woman that I've never had that desire or that feeling, and there is never a risk of me going to jail because I got into a fight with someone. I was like, that's very interesting.
I think she's in denial.
Really?
She's acting like it's a man-woman thing. Meanwhile, plenty of women have felt a homicidal desire.
Yeah, but like 90+% of the convictions are.
You just pulled that statistic out of your butt.
Feel free to Google how many people convicted of homicide are male.
It's impossible. Like that's like one of those statistics that's just you're not going to get a solid data set from that.
Even a vague data set.
Even a vague. I don't really value vague data sets.
Okay, fair.
You know, like,
well, I guarantee. Well, we have clear homicide convictions in America.
Trust your intuition more than data. Trust your heart.
My intuition and my heart says that men commit vastly more murders than women. Not that
I trust
women
that
don't.
Than if you were to tell me that to some shit like.
Okay, I'm gonna have a BS with that. Okay, so
vastly no, it's not even you. It's this lady who probably sees it in that way. It's probably wrong. You know, you shouldn't look. You should trust your intuition more if you're making statements like that.
Okay, well, let's trust our intuition here.
That's what I do. That's what I would. And I agree with the intuition aspect.
The intuition would say that there's far more men killing other people than women killing people.
Well, I have one of my famous Chris Kim repeatable parables for that. It's that an undisciplined man is more of a danger to society, and an undisciplined woman is more of a danger to herself. Both are equally bad.
That's true.
You know, I love that I'm building this like weird database of like fortune cookie parables. Or they're not parables. They're just like one-liner motto, or I should say like
not cones, but
quotes, I guess, quotations.
Yeah, aphorisms.
Aphorisms. So yeah, I'm just gonna, and these aphorisms are so much more powerful than like whole chapters from a philosophy book.
Mm-hmm.
It's like realizing, like, yeah, don't read Marcus Aurelius, just read Albert Camus' personal journals and notebooks. Like, that's better. Mm-hmm. But I didn't read any of that shit when I was growing up. all the shit that I read was like purely fiction. I didn't start reading philosophy until like I was older, and people like insisted that I did because they were like, "Your views sound like this. You should really, really read this. Your views sound like this."
There's something to that, which is that other people who spend a lot of time thinking through these things have already done it. Which is not to say that your experience or views is unwarranted, merely that others have gone over it many times before.
But I do think there is value to it though, where it's like, at least it's like, oh, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Like at least I'm not alone. Like another person been through similar shit and came to the similar conclusions. So there's that, which is nice. But it's a nice treat. Using it as your guiding principle, as your North Star, like that could lead to like some big problems.
Yeah.
You could become like a Nietzschean freak, or at worst, you could become a Marxist.
It really is often the worst case scenario to become a Marxist.
Oh yeah.
Big exception, frankly. And my favorite Marxists have always been like European guys. I'm not saying white guys. I mean like guys who are immigrants from Europe who just see it all kind of as a wry joke.
Marxism?
Yeah, or guys I meet that are like continental philosophy. Guys within the mode of Sartre.
Sounds like a very nuanced like a demographic.
Guys that are like Zizek. Guys, I've met guys who are like Zizek, and they are the most likable Marxists. Wherein I'm like, oftentimes I feel like they don't really believe it, and it's probably just some other cultural framework, or it's like perhaps it's something you say, I'm a Marxist, and then it like makes a bunch of other statements, no matter how reactionary and likable.
Once the brown people and black people get educated enough in America, they're gonna realize Marxists are just as bad as Nazis. They just lost.
Yeah,
because like Marxism is mostly a white thing.
Yeah, I mean, like the People's Republic of China.
It's not Marxist.
No, it's not. It's not a communist.
It's China. It's
China. It's still part of the same.
See, they view communism as a tool.
Yeah, they do.
Whereas other cultures view communism as the culture.
That was Russian. Even Russia doing that really was part of like a long-running Russian. Yeah, that was a long-running Russian trend, though. Part of like the Russian civilization of they adopt something from outside and they say we're going to perfect it or we're going to make it work for us.
Yeah,
like they were like that with Christianity.
Mm-hmm. China did the same shit.
I mean, China. I'm saying this descriptively, not pejoratively, but the People's Republic of China. Seems far more like a... Compare it to fascist Italy versus the Soviet Union. It's more like Italy. It'll be a lot more productive and functioning because it's Chinese and not Italian.
Yeah. Shitting on Italians. I said the same thing. I always shit on Italians. They're just not that smart.
No, well, beautiful craftsmanship in northern Italy, at least.
Yeah, they're great at painting and snacking. Awesome. Like fucking
craftsmanship for a bunch of consumer goods they're great at, but that's unique dynamics of northern Italy. Your Berettas, your Alfa Romeos, whatever.
Your Alfredo, creamy Alfredo.
Yeah.
We were talking about nature versus nurture, feminism, and women and culture.
Ideology, yeah.
I don't know. I'm definitely done with all of it. I know you're not done with it, like, because you're still like into it. I think you're gonna lose trust in it once like your models fail you. Once like your long trusted traditional models that have worked for hundreds of years, once too many real life factors start like contradicting your models, you're gonna be like,
yeah. When the models are behaving badly,
yeah,
you can easily get hit.
And it's gonna happen soon for you because you're constantly looking for that shit.
Yeah.
Starting with me, I probably am a very, very disruptive to some models to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But to me, I feel like I'm just the beginning. I'm just like one manifestation of something that's just going to become more pronounced as time goes on.
It's a natural part of like we keep talking about information being freer.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. That's why people are becoming more spiritual because information about spirituality is.
It makes sense because like there's a whole various archetypes of types of guys should be called archetypes of guys.
That's what all guys are, though.
Yeah.
All guys are just archetypes of guys.
Yeah.
Archetypes are bigger than the individual. Mm-hmm. Archetypes are bigger than us. They're more pervasive than they live longer than any single human.
That's true.
This is what I was talking about with patterns. Patterns are greater than us. And the arrogance and what fucks people up is like thinking that they control patterns. No. Like, you just align with them or not.
Yeah. Either fighting them, going with the flow of them.
Yeah. God, I wanted to bring this up in the last part, by the way, but
let's just do it now. We'll rearrange it so we can talk about something else in the last part, or we'll talk about material concerns of the last part. Or
no, this is kind of intellectual.
What?
Oh, well, it's also practical and material. Mm-hmm. So, yesterday I saw this meme. It was a meme about backshot wind, which is like hilarious. Whoever thought of that term, backshot wind, deserves to burn in hell. Straight up, like there's nothing. That was just pure evil. But anyway. In this meme, there was like the gist of it was like when you smell in the backshot wind and it smells like blah blah blah, but you just cracked a fresh honey pack and you don't want to waste it. I'm like, what's a honey pack? So I looked it up. Do you know what a honey pack is?
No.
All right, so a honey pack is a ghetto Viagra that comes in the form of a suckable packet containing like a honey composite.
Interesting.
So like. Imagine like a mustard packet.
Yeah.
Imagine that filled with honey, but this is designed to get you horny, like Hims or Viagra.
This sounds like some weird ass black shit.
It's ghetto shit. It's a gas station shit.
As you were gonna say, who coined the term backshot wind? My immediate thought was I don't know, some black dude
or black dude. But the product comes from India supposedly. But it's clearly like marketed to like kids and teenagers and younger dudes, like 20-year-olds, not old people.
You get it at a gas station, the equivalent of a gas station boner pill, but yeah.
It is the equivalent, but why make it into honey? It's like, because like, hey kids.
Target demographic. There's like certain tastes that, frankly, forgive me, I know I make everything about race. Forgive me, but this sounds like racial marketing to me.
Black people don't need it though. It's not a black thing, I don't think. I think it's something else. There's something else going on about like the pervasiveness of like dick pill marketing. Dick pill
is universal.
We're not just.
I'm saying that the honey pack might be a black targeted form of or Blue Chew. Blue Chew is for white men. Blue Chew's on Cum Town, so it's for white men. But the same product.
Fruity tablet. No, it's like.
Yes, I'm serious about that.
Black people need a packet of honey.
You have to have something, make it sweet, weird, janky, juvenile, whatever.
He's like, hold on, baby, let me crack the honey pack.
Blue Chew, I don't know.
And when we say like for black, it's not just black, we mean like white trash. Like we also include like white trash meth heads or alcoholics. It's like trailer trash alcoholics. Like, hold on,
true.
baby, I need my honey pack.
You're right. There's some class focus. You're right. Class is probably the bigger focus here. Yeah. Blue Chew is for the bourgeoisie.
Yeah. Meanwhile, honey packs is for lower class. It's either like, yo, I got to get my Newport 100 and my honey pack, or it's like I got to get my honey pack and my Mavericks. But it's even more disturbing if you think about how
I'm looking up honey pack here.
It's also more disturbing if you think about like, oh yeah, I got the honey pack on the graham cracker with the juice box.
Yeah,
it's like it's not kosher to me. It's insidious. Why honey packs? Why does it have to be honey packs? Why couldn't it be like just the pills or Listerine strips?
I don't know. Maybe the fact that it's candy.
It makes you want more. It's like, yo, that honey pack was so delicious. I'm gonna eat
maybe.
Another. It's like it's all sus, man. The fucking honey packs.
Trending on TikTok.
Why are some brands on TikTok
royalty and enhanced male sexual performance concerned about health. What are those little honey packs? Individualized, but not.
Oh, what did we put it in honey for? I'm sure these.
Yeah, maybe. Honey is like a sweet taste, not for Americans. It feels, you're right, Indian, or it feels foreign as like honey being preferred. Honey pack is a small packet of honey. Some contain additional, this is probably AI generated, contain additional ingredients that manufacturers claim benefit male sexual health. Unlisted drugs, libido, erections, it feels like gas station dick pills.
Dude, it's a dick pill. It's a gas station dick pill in suckable honey packet form. It's
fuck?
bizarre as fuck. I'm sorry. Am I the only
Natural
one who
male
thinks this is
invest.
fucking weird, dude?
No, it is. I've never heard of this. Black tie honey.
You're gonna try one, aren't you? You would try one. Let's try a honey.
Yeah, I'll try one. Let's just go out and like. It's like the idea of going to. Wow, this is weird. Tie honey.
Dude, hood products like that get you high now are getting like so crazy.
Everything about the I'm sure it's
Imagine getting a bottle of the honey pack. It's like you just start chugging the bottle. It's like
$60. Wow, $30 buy two get free.
it's like Hennessy, you know? It's like
Yeah, weirdly sweet, long-lasting stem energy. But so what it's probably doing is it probably is like making it difficult to ejaculate. I'm guessing is what actually
but
happens.
it has to give you like longer, thicker erections too. Otherwise, it wouldn't be like.
I know that with like gas station dick pills, it's like they're using a near Viagra made in like China.
Well, the OG
and
was
it's
horny
slightly-
goatweed, right?
What?
The OG was horny goatweed, and they
Yeah.
don't make it in China. What they do is they have Chinese freight ships full of chemicals, and then they go to a place like Mexico, and Mexico has this janky ass facility with these janky.
I'm sure it's a case where it is almost exactly chemically similar to Viagra, but slightly changed so it doesn't have to meet FDA or copyright qualities, and they're probably constantly being shut down.
But let's just talk about culturally. Do you think
Culturally, yeah.
like culturally the push to market like dick pills and fucking honey packs and shit to like all these all the whole class spectrum, do you think it's just an effort to make us breed more to meet demand, or do you think it's something else? Do you think it's just,
I think it's something else. It feels like it's arising as like a consumer product from
like the early aughts horny goatweed days? It's like
it
we don't
sounds
have
like
these,
how many people doing how many people doing this are fertile at all? How many of these people are practicing safe sex? How many people are
well, from what I understand, the people who really take honey packs are the kinds of people who like drink too much booze or do too much lean, or they're like on Percocets. Or,
yeah,
or
this is not a
something.
very fertile pop. I mean, it's in the underclass.
Aren't they
kind of
fertile?
is.
Aren't those people
Underclass-
fertile? Because I'm pretty sure like most people breeding
Right.
are like those kinds of drug addicts.
Black American birth rates have collapsed.
Really?
But yeah.
Maybe because they've been partying too hard and it's just their shit's just
I
not.
think they've gotten familiar enough with abortion and birth control. They've just been convinced to.
like their pullout game got stronger.
I don't know about that. I think it's probably more like the widespread use of abortion. Maybe birth control too. There's probably way more black women who use birth control than like 20 years ago or 30 years ago.
Probably.
Like, I feel like this is not an attempt to get us to reproduce more.
It's just a novel thing that they
It's a way. It's probably like probably more guys are experiencing sexual dysfunction, or they're trying to extend the level of horniness and sexual function. You know, as a younger man, you actually are more sexually functioning usually, unless you're very unhealthy. or
Also, at the
running
same
into
time, I think
health.
technology is also meeting the demands of novel ways to produce like relatively safe substances.
Also,
that can-
this is probably like in response to. Honestly, I wouldn't be. Well, I was not fully it, but I wouldn't be surprised if pornography, as a part of, leads to people being less sexually satisfied when they actually do meet a girl and she doesn't meet your visual standards as a man.
That could be true. I mean, or you could just look at it as like where I don't know.
You know, I don't know. Boomers, I think boomers definitely fucked a lot more than us. They had fewer means of entertainment. They were less neurotic.
They had less access to information and like
Yeah.
downloadable audiobooks. And they were more promiscuous.
It was also fresher then. They were coming from a sexually restrained society and breaking free of it. So it was more exciting.
And it was
you could say
easier-
that you were engaged in good political behavior by having premarital sex. Now it's just the norm for people.
And it's easier to get away with shit back then. Like you could have sex with people and your friends would never ever know. Meanwhile, like, you know, you take a selfie and someone else is in there, it's like, oh, they're fucking. And they'd be
Yeah, you're right. The panopticon of being observed by your friends all the time probably is. There's a whole lot of different things that strike against both relationship formation, but even just casual sex.
Yeah.
Like you hear boomers talk, and they had a bunch of wild porn like random hookups. Not all of them, but anyone who was in like a major city, a lot of the time they did. Like both my parents would tell me stories because my parents were overly open with this.
And
tell me stories
and we
about.
wonder why like everyone's so woke. It's because those people are the ones who had kids and spread their seed to woke liberal colleges.
Certainly culturally, and yeah, but I mean, this might be a millennial effect because over the long term, the lower fertility.
I think it's a
means,
Gen X effect.
Yeah,
Gen Xers who had kids.
Gen Xers are kids. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We're also in the Northeast. We're not. There's large swaths of the country and of the world we're not dealing with. But yes.
Anyway, with that, you want to take a quick break?
Yeah.
All right. And we're back
We're back.
from outer space.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about next subject actually I should say is at this point we talk about creative stuff. Oh yeah, movies, music, media, art, paintings. We're not really painting guys, although we should be. We should be able to look at the beauty and appreciate paintings. Usually I look at a painting and I'm like, why isn't it moving? Like, GIFs are way better.
Yeah. It's just like the child being surprised that they keep tapping the corner of the book, but the page doesn't turn. The child saying, they went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. They should have been fetching Pokemon.
Yeah. When I was like 10
Mm-hmm.
or when I was like 20 and I knew someone who was like 34
Yeah.
and they told me shit like, nah, my kid's not going to be a tablet kid. Like he's going to read actual books. And like people my age at 20 would have been like, yeah, good on you. Respect. Right. Now that we're 34 and, you know, if any of my friends had kids and they said that shit, we'd be like, shut the fuck up. Your kid's just going to get lobotomized by electronic devices like everyone else.
Yeah, it just is inevitable. It's like kids who grew up without TVs, and I just felt bad for them. And also, I'm on my phone all the time. I would have to stop using my phone to really be able to do that with a kid.
Yeah. I'm still gonna try though. Like at first I think like what I would do is I would read a lot of
try, but yeah.
I would read a lot of picture books with my kid.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I was, you know, I wasn't always raised by my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
There was also periods of time where I lived with my aunt and uncle, with various like people in that family spectrum, and I was read a lot of like kids books growing up because everyone in my dad's generation, they were Gen X, so you know they saw me as a kid growing up, born in '91, and they themselves weren't that much older, and they were like, well, what do we do for this kid? Let's get him children's books. And they were fairly educated people in my family. You know, they came from like polytechnic schools. My aunt went to NYU, shit like that. And I mean, they knew they knew enough about like life in America to know like what shit was good as far as children's influences go. And even when I was a kid living with my aunt, you know, she was pregnant with her first baby, and you know, I saw what she was getting into information wise, like all the classic books, what to expect when you're expecting, stuff like that. I think I have a pretty good grasp on like maternal factors when it comes to like child rearing. Like,
well, you grew up in a very feminine dominant situation with your grandma and your
grandma, then my aunts. Yeah, for sure.
Very old world, actually.
Yeah, it's very tribal.
Yeah, my extended family had no involvement in my upbringing, basically.
Yeah,
very Northern European, how much the nuclear family was important to me. It was my parents and then me and my brother.
Yeah, I would say it was definitely like everyone who wasn't my father in my family that got me in touch with my feminine side.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why like animals and children like me, like you know, like being around me. You know, it's because of them, their influence. Yeah, it definitely was a very feminine upbringing. But because of that, like, you know, that's how I know all the good shit. Like with like, I mean, it's not good because like, you know, I missed out on like, I'm not a Rome bro because of that reason. You know, I could have been if only I had more of a masculine upbringing. But no, like Now I just get all the pop culture references like any Floyd could throw at me. You know, like I could hear a bunch of girls talking. They make some stupid reference. And I'm like, oh, you're talking about Miss Congeniality, Sandra Bullock. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Or the, you know, even more vague ones like, oh yeah, you saw Boys Don't Cry. Strange. Not a lot of girls your age saw that movie. You know, shit like that. Like because I could just pick it up like instantly. Or it's like you listen to garbage. You know. But it's more for me. It's like the biggest thing is chick flicks. Like I know a lot of it, but the music too. You know. Like a lot of girls I get along with because like we both like Lana Del Rey.
Yeah, that's a big benefit, I guess, with women. Is like Lana Del Rey.
Yeah. I mean, I just get it. You know, like I get the I get where their head's at. You know.
Mm-hmm. A lot of guys don't. A lot of guys have almost like a curated boys only. They're all G.I. Joe and no Barbie.
Well, men come from a place of like enforced balance. Like no matter what, they're always centered. They're always balanced. So it's like that could drive you crazy because without any stimulus, like you get no progress. So you have to go out and seek chaos. Whereas women are like born in chaos. Their default is chaos. So it's like they're seeking stability just so they could fucking survive. So it's like an inverse between chaos and order. Men come from order seeking chaos for meaning, whereas women come from chaos seeking order for stability and safety. And I see that a lot in a lot of movies, that theme play out.
Such as?
I don't know, any action movie, you know? Damsel in distress trope. The stoic hero who's fine, he just wants to be left alone, and here comes this woman.
Like there's an event that happens to the hero, whereas chick flick stuff is often about interpersonal relationships.
Yeah, it's mostly about emotional turmoil. Also, like, you ever notice when it comes to like feminine audience focused movies versus masculine audience focused movies, masculine audience focused movies are more concerned about the actual act, the actual experience.
Yeah, it is.
Whereas feminine ones are probably better off concerning like either the follow up, but mostly the aftermath.
Have you seen Arrival?
Yeah.
I like Arrival. That's a very rare case of a genuinely feminine focused sci-fi story.
Because it has a lot of focus on after the incident, you know?
Yeah.
And like how you emotionally deal with that.
How she emotionally deals with it. The central crux of it is the ability to feel empathy for something that is totally different than
any
you.
girl movie that even tries to capture a male audience, you notice it has to start with like she has like this haunted past.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, my mom died or blah when I was this young. I saw her die. And it's always like any feminine focused movie, there has to be a haunted past involved of the main character. Like the main character has to like, it's like, yeah, we're in this fresh town trying to get a fresh new start. It's like, oh, what are you trying to get a fresh new start from? It's like, I don't want to talk about it. And that's the kind of shit that gets girls wet. They're like, oh, why don't you want to talk about it? You know, like. Whereas for guys, it's like, yeah, I don't care. Anyway, are we gonna kill something or?
Yeah. That's a very strong actual sex difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also tribal too. It's you could see it's like, you know, a group of strangers come to a new tribe, and the women in the tribe are like, "What happened?" So, "Oh, we're running away from danger," and blah blah blah, and like this other tribe tried to kill us too. Meanwhile, the men of the tribe is like, "Yeah, whatever. Can you guys hunt? Can you guys build shit? Like we got work to do right now, you know." It's a balance. But we're not monkeys anymore, all right? That shit just doesn't fly with us anymore. It's not gonna work. We're too complicated now. I mean, I would like that shit to work. Don't get me wrong. I would love tribalism and stuff. It's just it's not viable with our mental faculties. And it's easier to say like, oh, I'm the only smart person. I'm just a freak though in that aspect. Everyone's just a tribalistic monk. But then once we see everyone else, even the idiots, become smarter, and kind of transcending tribalism, then you know your whole ontology starts to break. Which is reflected in media, honestly. That's what being wokeified really is. It's like losing track of like, you know, current ontology, so everything looks freaky to you.
Mm.
My problem was never aesthetic. I mean, that's what I say on the surface level. I always say like, yeah. On the surface level, it's like, oh, the progressives just repulse me aesthetically. But no, it's like I don't care about their shit aesthetically. I just mostly care about their shit like philosophically. Like I don't like the perpetual victim narratives. I don't like indignance.
Yeah. I focus on it still because, like, the right wing stuff is just so fucking dumb so much of the time. Or the output is so lacking.
That's true.
Like, the right wing tendency to say everything is demons, I find very tedious.
Like Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones, for example.
You know, there's interesting stuff within that, but it just ends up being the stupid, or like anytime a music, fucking, once again, we're all just referencing Twitter, the Zach Brown, the little bit of chicken fry guy having a Vegas show with prolonged depictions of hell, and for my brief reading of it, it's about him, like, you know, depicting his experiences with, like, being a drunk or whatever. And then seeing a bunch of responses saying this is so satanic, and I'm like, no, I think it's very reasonable for a guy like, oh, I was, you know, drunk for a while and made me do awful things, and to visually represent it, here's a skeleton cowboy in hell as a backdrop, and I'm like, yeah, that's very straightforward. There's nothing ominous or occult about that. That makes perfect
I think there's
sense.
a problem with like ascribing satanic values to raw symbolism and imagery. People often
It's really retarded, man. It's a really weird American thing where they call anything that is Halloween,
yeah,
like anything that
like if a guy's wearing like skulls and fake blood stains on his shirt or whatever, and then he's the most thankful person and grateful and
Yeah.
whatever. Meanwhile, you have a person who's like
That's
clean
like, you
cut.
know-
Meanwhile, he's a fucking sociopath. I'm like,
yeah,
get the fuck out of here.
Like Ozzy Osbourne was like a reasonable, like, Christian guy. He had issues with drug abuse, but like all of his Ozzy Osbourne, his Satanism was always like fun little jokes where it was, I just had tea with my best mate, the devil. And it was like, okay, this is just like a cute bit.
I can never hold up like famous people to that. First of all, like I don't hang out with famous people, so
That's true.
I can't use them as an example for something so universal.
Yeah.
Because they might be the exception, honestly.
Yeah, that's true.
But as far as normal people that have access to those, it's yeah. I guess the pattern still holds true. It's like I know a lot of like fucked up looking like punks and like homeless bums and the most grateful, kind-hearted, compassionate people. Meanwhile, you have like, you know, people wearing like the highest that society has to offer, or you know, they present themselves as such, and it's like they're just pieces of shit. They're just evil pieces of shit.
Everyone has those kind of stories, but yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you're right. I do think it is kind of like erroneous to look at appearances to determine someone's like satanic intent.
It's just so common in, like,
But that's what Twitter
internet.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it also clearly has a broader cultural sphere because, like, normie Midwestern and Southern conservatives kind of do the same shit with their various satanic panics or whatever. But even then, I've never lived there, so I don't know how fully common it actually is.
Satanism.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, like, that kind of, like, oh no, there's a skeleton, this is creeping me out kind of.
This is too spooky.
Yeah, literally it is, this is too spooky for me.
I can't look at this. This is satanic.
Francis Fukuyama, he's not that. He had a hilarious tweet, but I understand the sentiment where he was saying, like, Halloween's an eerie time because I'll walk by a house decorated with a child skeleton. Normally, seeing a child skeleton is not a source of joy.
Well, all right. So the conservatives call the trans stuff satanic, and that's actually interesting because there is this idea of like androgyny being attributed, like one of the attributed qualities to Moloch or something.
But a lot of the programmer nerd transbian types, a lot of them are overtly into occultism, so I can understand.
Well, that's the part of what I'm really getting at. Like, that's whether it's transism or drug addiction or severe alcoholism, the part where you just cannot stand being in your own skin,
Yeah.
or you have an eating disorder or something, possession, like we discussed before, A lot of movies capitalize on it, but you could easily say these are all themes, like an Exorcist. Like you just had every single one. Like you had the eating disorder with the vomiting, you had the
Bulimia, yeah.
you had all of it, all the sexual shit. You had age regression. So yeah, I mean, possession, movies, art in general. I guess I think I don't
Channeling something. Mental illness as being very analogous, if not one-to-one.
Yeah,
with
possession
earlier
isn't all bad.
perceptions of
Mental
the-
illness is just the bad side. For every bad mental illness, there's a polar opposite good quality. Like for every sociopath, there's also like a compassionate person, or an empathetic one.
Yeah.
For every psychopath, there's like a person who's like really values order. But what we really want is not the extremes of either. We want the balance in between.
Yeah. Possession as being like mimetic contagion, wherein you're just picking up something from the broader culture and it's influencing you.
Well, if you identify it as mimetic contagion, that's terrifying because people can by individual will weaponize memes.
Yeah.
It's a war. Like the meme sphere is now a battlefield. If you could identify it, you're a part of it now.
Yeah. We're both soldiers in the great meme war here.
Did I show you the meme war meme? It was like spiritual warfare. It's like at the very top there's the spiritual plane. Below that there's like the realm of abstractions and logic. Below that there's the cyber one of tech, and below that is just like NPC, impulse, animal, satisfaction, porn.
No,
shit.
you haven't.
I think you would like it. Because the thing about like porn or images or like propaganda, it can only move as fast at most at the speed of light.
Yeah.
But memes could move as fast as the speed, like they can move at the speed of a feeling or a thought. That's faster than light.
Yeah. Or at least how the information is disseminated rapidly. But yeah.
Yeah. So that's what mimetic warfare is about. And as a participant, once you recognize mimetic warfare as a participant, the highest one is only like the spiritual plane. Like you're always going to fall victim to some higher force until you're at the top quadrant of the pyramid. How do you feel about how do you feel your relationship is with mimetic warfare of the collective consciousness?
I'm engaged with it, obviously.
We all are, yeah.
I have some self-awareness of it, or awareness. I don't know if I fully have a grasp on it or control. I actually don't. Am I being dragged along by trend lines? I guess somewhat.
Well, if you could take yourself anywhere in the meme war and do anything within the meme war, what would you want to manifest?
I like to manifest people chilling out more, man. People are too uptight with a lot of things.
You think so?
Yeah, it's chilled out since the election, but yeah.
What kind of movies do you think uptight people should watch to be less uptight?
That's a good question. Some mix of things that are frivolous and things that emphasize the beauty of life.
Well, luckily, eventually technology is going to get to a point where we can make whatever movie or television show we want, including the one with me and you.
Yeah.
Me starring the QAnon type FBI agent, and you're the like straight materialist, strict like Reaganite, like it's the Jews.
Not even a Reaganite though. That archetype is just like,
maybe not.
You know what
Reaganite.
it is? It's there's a type of conspiracy guy that is underrepresented in films, except when he's a villain. Mentioned this before with how Alan Moore described Rorschach as being an entirely different character after the X-Files than before. Whereas before he was just like an absurd crank, where right from the beginning readers were presumably saying, okay, this guy's nuts. But after the archetype of the Cassandra-like visionary conspiracy theorist who's correct, maybe not entirely in the ways he expects.
But they're like prophetic.
Yeah,
But they're not
that the
conspiracy theorists.
prophetic
That's the
conspiracy
prophet.
theory guy archetype totally changes.
But that's
those
not a
kinds of
conspiracy. That's just a
depictions.
prophet.
Yeah, it is just a prophet. Yeah.
And that's really what conspiracy theorists don't see themselves as conspiracy theorists. They see themselves as prophets.
I'm sure they're all seeing themselves as the lone gunmen from the X-Files. Did you ever watch The Lone Gunmen?
Yeah, the standalone show.
Yeah, I liked it as a boy. I never rewatched it, but I liked it as a kid.
I was sad when they died.
Yeah.
They
I mean, I only
sacrificed
got one
themselves.
season, but yeah. And I could see the reason why didn't catch on, but it was charming and cute. It's an interesting contrast to the X-Files, where the Lone Gunman TV show was, I think, entirely or almost entirely about materialist conspiracies. Like, everything in the show was stuff presumably happening in the real world without aliens or monsters or anything.
I think your favorite show now would be The Blacklist.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Long-running show with James Spader, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting how these long-running, financially lucrative shows, they catch a good actor and then just keep them forever. And they spend 9-10 years, like Zooey Deschanel with The New Girl.
Well, to be fair, it's a legitimately good show.
I believe you, but it's an intriguing dynamic where an actor will stop acting in movies because they're so busy
With their baby, their show.
Yeah, with their show, yeah, which I'm sure gets a great paycheck. It's not like a stressful shoot. Like, everything's controlled, everything
Feels
like,
natural.
Yeah, everything's easy to work in. Yeah,
What else? What other actor or show can you think of?
I thought like The New Girl with Zooey Deschanel. Not that she's a very impressive
That's a good
actress,
one.
but that falls under that platform. Tony Shalhoub with Monk. I'm describing shows. Hugh Laurie and House.
Hung.
I'm describing what?
Californication.
Yeah, I'm describing shows where an actor from a film actor gets like a steady paycheck. Maybe a show he's a producer on. They almost inevitably end up becoming producers on those things.
And it's like there's some actors that just never let themselves like
Kevin Costner in Yellowstone, which huge viewership, but it's a viewership of like old. My dad watched Yellowstone. Yellowstone was a show overtly aimed at like over 65-year-old white men.
But there's some novelty in that. It's like I've always liked this guy. I've always wanted to see him in a show. Because you could, arguably tell a more comprehensive story with a television show.
Yeah. Arguably, or you can get the same thing again and again, which is pleasant in and of
Also,
itself.
Disney Plus kind of blended the lines a lot because they had a lot of the movie actors come in for their shows.
That makes sense.
And MCU, sorry.
Right. It used to be a big deal or a big step down for a film actor to become a television regular.
But now
That's
it's
no
like
longer
if you're a
the
part
case,
of the franchise and you kind of have to do it, like with Star Wars too. Like, you had the Star Wars actors show up for the movies, but they also showed up for the Disney Plus shows and spin-offs.
Yeah, I think that model has kind of underwhelmed. The MCU has suffered from that.
So
from
did
having
Star
movie
Wars. Are you
cross-port-
serious?
Yeah, and Star Wars too. Also at Marvel.
Fucking
I'm
Ewan
also
McGregor and
Disney
Doogie Howser.
What?
Fucking Ewan McGregor and Doogie Howser did that Obi-Wan show.
Yeah. Neil Patrick Harris.
No, that wasn't actually Anakin Skywalker, though. I just say that because he looks like him. But
The Anakin actor came back for.
yeah, and
Oh,
so
okay.
did Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, bad for box office draw, obviously.
But good for the franchise.
Was it?
Yeah. Every fucking paused out Star Wars nerd loved that shit. They ate that shit up like flies.
Aren't they complaining about it the whole time? I don't know Star Wars.
Just because
too
they were
well.
complaining about it doesn't mean they didn't watch it.
Oh, that's true. They watched it.
I
Anyway.
didn't even watch that
That's
shit.
a good point.
You know, like-
That's a good point. That making bad cultural products,
And they didn't even
you
make it
still
bad.
get
It's just they were
mediocre.
I think it's mediocre, and they were never going to be able to please them anyway fully. So might as well just go for mass appeal.
Did it go for mass appeal? Do they have good ratings? Are they being renewed for new seasons?
You're looking at it the wrong way. You're looking at that one show. The question is, are more people getting Disney Plus subscriptions? And I think the answer is yes.
Oh, I see. I'm
Because
very
kids watch
unhappy
this
with
shit.
streaming
Because kids
services.
watch this shit, and the same kids who watch that shit are now like, going to college and moving to the West Coast like retards, getting their first apartment, and of course, no apartment is complete without their precious Disney Plus subscription, just like they grew up with in their Gen X mom and dad's house. You know.
I'm not familiar with the dynamics, but I trust you on them.
Well, we can't imagine it because we're old as fuck. But
Yeah,
it's like when my family had kids, they were a little younger than, you know. It's like your parents, you know, like not your parents now. It's like, I don't know, 10 years. You know, 10 years. I feel like I was born 10 years a little too early, but not that I mind. It's just.
yeah. Then I dislike streaming services, honestly, even though it should technically be great availability of all of this.
No, they suck.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
that. It's because like
Netflix was cool at one point.
it's robbery. I mean, the only redeeming factor is that each streaming platform makes an effort to produce their own content.
How much of it is good? It seems like there's a lot of big budget, big name adaptations that go nowhere are very underwhelming.
Well, when I say
that, all these streaming shows just look cheap to me.
Well, it's not that they make it. I mean, some now they do, and it's like the line has been kind of blurred on purpose. I might add, but they don't just make their own shit; they also buy shit.
Yeah, a lot of it's that, isn't it? That they're buying or picking up things.
Yeah, like Netflix, for example, would pick up shit from South Korea a lot or India, especially nowadays.
Yeah, but India, is there any?
But what's the
big
difference
Indian
between
successes?
that? What's the difference between that and like cable? Just a different, different protocol it's running on. That's all it is.
Right. How it looks or whatever, but I don't know. I'm old. I'm out of touch with this stuff. I'm out of touch with what's on streaming.
I mean, you still watch movies and shit.
Yeah, I do. I feel like even my movie watching is very much an old person thing now.
Yeah. Well, you're not that old. Not as old as you think.
That's true.
I mean, what kind of media do you consume usually?
Besides my feed,
Maybe you're just too busy nowadays.
maybe that's it. Maybe I'm too busy with music.
Maybe you finally don't have time for social media. Because, like, if you're telling me,
know.
like, you don't watch videos, you don't watch movies, you don't watch shows, you don't even consume, like, the woke shit. So it's like, what are you even doing on Twitter?
It's like a notepad for gross out jokes I come up with in my day-to-day life.
I guess the last real slop you're consuming is just living in New York City, like life in New York City. Maybe it's not even like you're consuming slop. Maybe you're starting to actually become
Slop?
I mean, that's the goal. Like for me
Yeah.
too. Like the whole point of Terrorisk is for us to not be consumers of slop and to be more
Producers of slop.
of the slop. Yeah, we don't want to be eating this shit downstream from the asshole. We want to be the asshole. Yeah.
Perhaps that's
Maybe that's what you're doing. Maybe you're becoming more of the asshole and less of the mouth eating the shit from the asshole. You know. That's a vibe I would get. I mean, because like when I would like look at your Twitter, a lot of it was kind of like, analyzing, and giving like a critical take on like a lot of media, but then it's like becoming less like that and more so about like real life interactions and more about like people. And,
Yeah, it's overwhelmingly just about interactions I have in real life.
But I mean, in a lot of ways, it's like it's not better or worse. It's different. And
Yeah.
in some ways, it could be better because.
I guess in New York City, other people are your entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
Which once again, very
It's more novel. It's more novel than fucking commenting about like Stranger Things for the umpteenth time, you know?
Yeah. Well, look, if you're living in middle America or big portions of America, there's not much going on around you. So watching
Except what's in your
media-
40-inch TV.
Yeah, and that's your huge TV's cheap. You have infinite entertainment, so I guess you can just consume it.
This is why I feel bad for people in Illinois.
Yeah.
You know, like they're just urbanized enough to almost reach like cultural significance, but they're still.
I think at one point, no, I know at one point, those places had far more vibrant real life scenes. Like in 1900, everywhere you go in America, there's some local big city that's still a pretty small city, still much smaller than New York City is at the time. But you go there, there's young people, you go out to the bars, there's a variety of different people.
Every city was great. Minnesota, Chicago, New York, but and then it just like the significance of all the cities just got more and more consolidated.
Yeah, it is. This is a global phenomena where all these second-tier cities around the world are emptying out population, all the hinterlands, the villages, whatever. Every single year, Japan's population declines, but Tokyo's population increases because instead of the life in whatever small village or instead of life in Osaka or whatever, everyone moves to Tokyo. The same dynamic is true everywhere in the world. America is noteworthy only because there's multiple. America and China, because we're both so big, in India. I don't think it's not the case with Russia. We just have several major cities.
Yep. Therefore, our movies can follow less genres and themes to appeal to more people.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the world's film industry, like India, China, America, all have mass market popular entertainment. Everywhere else kind of has, they have maybe knockoffs of often American film, or they have like a very like Iran, where like the only cinema they really make is like art house movies.
Yeah, or France or something.
France is a situation where there is a decent chunk of like local mass entertainment that Luc Besson set up. Like Luc Besson basically just brought American blockbuster filmmaking to France. That's the guy who directed Leon the Professional and The Fifth Element. That guy basically made American blockbusters in France for a French market and was successful, though highly criticized for ruining or moving away from like
the art house type.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
That's the case in a lot of places in the world, but anyway. Whereas at one point, a lot like almost everywhere had local popular entertainment.
Fuck.
Everyone that was able to support a film industry.
You ever feel the desire to entertain, like performatively?
This is a thing that I would say no, because I'm constantly doing it. But the idea of actually doing it.
That's satanic, by the way.
What?
I mean, I love it. I love performance. Like the idea of like playing on stage as a band member or
I'm
a pop star. But it's like,
I actually have, for someone who is so loud and like so much of a character, I get bad stage fright, or I'm too self-aware, or too self-conscious.
regardless of your own personal insecurities, I just mean the act itself. Like even if you successfully did it, it's still very very satany. It's very pagany. It's not very kosher. You know, like
yeah. Honestly, even though I like D&D in concept, I'm a terrible role player. Performing in general is just not something I line up with.
Like doing stand-up,
which is something I'm doing all the time with people I interact with. But actually doing it on stage is really, I just never got over that initial fear.
It's because you don't write. You don't really write. I mean, you post a lot, which is frustrating because I know you could do it. Only a person who has the ability to write within them could post a lot.
It ends up being perhaps a distraction, huh? Or like a channel away from the actual creative act of writing.
No, I think it's still a good gateway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's cool that cigarettes exist because then more people smoke weed.
Yeah.
They call it a gateway drug.
Well, that was always said about weed, I know.
Yeah.
But not that many plenty of people who just smoke. Yeah, that was always interesting. That was always like a stereotype about like 90s or like 70s through 90s descriptions of weed as a gateway drug to harder, more just damaging stuff. And that's true for a minority of people. There's so many people I know who smoke weed but would never touch cocaine.
Yeah, there's some people I know who don't really think about cocaine, but they would never touch weed.
Yeah.
Like in the Dominican Republic or something.
Honestly, forgive me for bringing back politics, but so many Republicans I meet will do a bunch of coke or ketamine, but they'll never smoke weed. I always find that curious.
I don't think there's any smart heavily politically identifying person, whether they're far right or far left. Like I think they're all pretty fucking stupid and closed-minded.
I think a bunch of midwits is a better way of putting it, but yeah.
I think it does take a midwit to kind of be obsessed with the idea of separating people.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, if you're low class, you're better off being a midwit, thinking like a midwit, you know, for a bit. But you can't get stuck there. You got to transcend that. Otherwise, you're gonna kill yourself eventually. Especially if you end up as a rich midwit. It's better to be a rich retard or a rich genius.
Actually, that's very true. A rich retard just is like living with the vibes. You just Forrest Gump. You just like
Kim
good luck
Kardashian.
happened. A rich genius can handle a lot better, but a rich midwit starts freaking out in all these different ways.
Anyway, that concludes the third part. So I'm just gonna refill my water cup. And we're back
Yes, huh?
to finally cap off the last piece. This is where we talk about emotions, emotional stuff, receiving as opposed to injecting, the cusp instead of the phallic symbol. What are some ways you feel the most vulnerable? For me, it's financially. I mean, I feel like that's all of us, right? Like, we look, because we live in hyper-capitalism, like, all of us are feeling particularly financially vulnerable. We never know when our dollar is just going to be worth like half its value tomorrow.
I don't know financially because like I'm dead broke until a check clears hopefully tomorrow, and I don't feel that vulnerable about it. Maybe there's a weird personal trait.
That's how I felt when I was like 23.
I know I have a certain maturity about it, but you know.
I mean, either way, it doesn't matter because I don't have kids. I just have a cat. That's really...
Yeah.
But I guess the more dependencies you have, the greater your standard has to go up.
Yeah, your luxury spending, but really tightening your belt, getting very cheap with things. It's not too hard. Like, it's just that, like, we have... It's so easy to get food in the modern world.
Food isn't really an issue.
Yeah.
Like, let's admit it. Like, whoever's... Honestly, I hate to...
Whenever
put it
people
this
act
way,
like there are people starving in America,
if you're
I'm like,
starving
what the
in
fuck?
2025...
What?
You were never gonna make it. Like, you were,
How is that even possible? There are so much like.
And
food
if you are
pantries.
starving in 2025, it's not because there's not enough food in the world. It's because something or someone is like consciously preventing you from
Yeah.
eating. Like, there is literally enough food in the world to feed everyone.
Yeah, every single person who is starved, almost every single person who's starving in America right now is
It's
either
artificial
anorexic or they're being held prisoner or something.
It's artificial
starvation is always a human factor throughout human history, but
You know, I like that you always mention that because not a lot of people talk about how much our society, they don't really consider that we really did solve world hunger back in like the 20th century. You know?
it's like the Green Revolution. Like already it was solved in America, but like the Green Revolution, I forgot the guy's name. Like it solved it on a worldwide level.
Pretty much.
Like, you know, eating nothing but rice and beans sucks, but that's
You're
way better
not
than
gonna
starving
yeah.
to death.
And then when you look at Haiti, it's like that's
That's due to how dysfunctional things are locally.
Exactly. That's not. It's literally because there's enough people to do more damage than to create infrastructure. If they wanted to.
That's the only reason why. Yeah.
I mean, they could easily provide food there. There's easily enough room to provide food there.
Yeah.
That is an interesting thing. That like food scarcity is no longer truly a vulnerability. Because I used to read books like Angela's Ashes, you know.
Yeah, like in the 19th century and all of human history before that, the actual starvation is a really scary, very real thing.
Yeah, because you really didn't like. For all you knew, like your grocer could, suddenly like the only grocer in the town could suddenly go on bad times or something bad could happen, and he just doesn't have food for everyone.
Yeah.
And even if you have money, you could still not be able to eat. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that dynamic is just totally gone. If nukes drop, whatever, sure, it comes back. But
I mean, even as like a homeless person, if someone came up to you, it was like, please, I haven't eaten anything in 3 days, and you had like a Kit Kat bar, and you're like, yeah, sure, motherfucker, take it.
there's a bunch of calories of that. Yeah,
exactly.
like the fact we're throwing out so much food speaks to the tremendous wealth of it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think we really did solve world hunger like a long time ago.
Oh, we did, yeah. Any African country where there's starvation is because of like
that should
political dynamics on the ground.
That should be considered a global holiday at some point. Like when we actually stop starving to death as a people. But then again, it's like it's not profitable to like say that problem went away. It's only profitable. Like problems are profitable.
I don't even know if it has any relevance to profitability because companies can make record-breaking amounts of money with everyone being well-fed.
That's true.
Like they currently do. There's just much more money in circulation today than in the 19th century.
Some countries are more vulnerable to starvation, though, if like smart infrastructure broke down.
Yeah, you're right. Like there's a whole bunch. Like Singapore can't grow its own food because there's no farmland, right? All food is imported.
Or like
right?
Tibet suddenly can't get their Costco international shipments. Like.
Well, that's all coming from
China.
Mm-hmm. But yes, I know what you mean. Yeah. Like. Yeah. No, world hunger totally solved.
Unless World War III breaks out, and you're going to see world hunger come back in a very ugly way.
Yeah. That's just such a large extenuating factor, but yeah.
I guess it depends on what form World War III takes. Then I'll tell you how scared I am. If it's like small skirmishes and just like intelligence, global, basically another Cold War 2.0, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's not going to affect anything because Cold War 1.0 didn't. I mean, did affect things, but not here. Whatever.
It'll fuck us up psychologically more than physically, I mean, if anything, we are kind of in the Cold War 2.0. Mm-hmm. Except like Cold War, first one was like all like foreign enemies, whereas the second Cold War is foreign enemies and domestic enemies.
Yeah. There are not... This Cold War, there are psyops being run by non-state actors. I'm not just talking about like the CIA. I mean like internet friend groups effectively get together around the idea of
we're all basically
psyops.
being trained to think and act like internet spooks.
Yeah.
The only thing that isn't really mass trend yet is blackmail. Mm-hmm. But once like we all learn how to blackmail each other, it's going to be a whole brave new world.
How many cancellations were effectively just exerting blackmail or whisper campaigns?
I think that was all. Most of those, like that was the era of doing it out of passion.
Yeah.
Now we're in for the era of doing it in a much more calculated way. Same way the higher ranks were doing it, but now it's like us idiots finally understanding. Yeah. Like, wait, we
trickling down.
Yeah. That's satanic. But that's really just like soul stealing magic. Like if we knew each other personally and we were like Tweedledum and Tweedledee, and it's like we worked together, and then I saw you like jerking off to child porn in the and it's like I have your soul, because if I tell anyone you'll lose your job, you'll probably die of starvation, no one will hire you, and blah 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 blah. That's really the game. It's soul stealing. We look at it in terms of just blackmail and information and making me look bad and ruining my reputation. Those are all complicated ways of saying, like, you stole my soul and you destroyed it.
Yeah.
And then people are going to start to value, like, their soul integrity more. They're gonna be like, oh, so this is why I shouldn't goon for hours and hours and hours, you know. So this is why I shouldn't eat my fucking self to death. So this is why I shouldn't just lay around doing absolutely nothing. So this is why I shouldn't fuck everything that moves. So this is why I shouldn't just care about like money and wealth over everything, you know.
Yeah.
This is why I shouldn't take revenge. Like, I think I would have done well in the CIA.
Yeah, I think so too.
In CIA, not the CIA, but just in CIA. Supposedly, you don't say God before CIA. I mean, you don't say the before CIA because you don't say the before.
Whatever, it doesn't matter in common usage. People get hung up on that with the Mossad, but same thing feels.
Did they say that? Like, you don't say the Mossad, you only say Mossad?
No, you're supposed to say the Mossad, not Mossad,
Yeah.
I think.
Because it's not, because like God, then, you know.
I don't fucking know. I don't know what it is.
I mean, tradition is important with these intelligence agencies, so it might as well be important when you discuss them. Like,
I don't know if I have to follow their grammatical rules for it, but yeah.
not to follow their grammatical rules, just to kind of like understand their perspective. It's not really about perception. Perspective is greater than perspective is greater than perception.
Yeah. I don't know.
But you know, you still feel grateful for every day, right?
I do feel grateful for every day.
Good. What scares you? Anything?
Maybe social stuff, maybe being isolated, which is very juvenile, I know, but
No, it's a very valid fear.
yeah. Financially, I don't feel scared, even when things are very tight, because I don't have anything really to take care of. Even my like living situation falling apart, I just find something. I have no doubt of it. Scary, maybe aging is a big one, even though I know it's inevitable.
I think I'm scared of
Maybe-
getting injured.
Yeah, maybe it's that the lifestyle I have becomes increasingly untenable with age. And
Well,
I'm
it's not like
scared
you
of-
do anything to help your case.
I don't. You're right.
But that becomes a trap in itself. You know, the more you
Yeah.
try to like solve that problem, the bigger the problem gets.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, how do I work out when I have a broken pinky? And then suddenly it all falls apart.
Yeah.
I'd say my biggest fears would be my cat suffering. You know, my cat like
Yeah.
suddenly dying, getting sick. Because he's the only thing, you know, in my life that relies on me to survive. Like,
Yeah.
I never had that before.
That responsibility. Yeah.
Would you feel like your girlfriend relies on you to survive?
Yeah.
Really?
Not to survive, but
Like, are they your technical dependent as far as like the IRS is concerned?
not technical dependent. No.
Oh, okay. So you're not there yet.
No. Yeah, I know.
Your mom could be eventually.
My mom is one that I do think about when I talk to her. I'm always, she's doing okay. She's paying rent and all that, but I'm always concerned about her falling apart. Or,
Oh yeah, I mean, our parents are fucked because, like, I mean, my dad talks to me all the time. He's like the way. Actually, he never talks to me.
No,
about
that's
it in this
actually
way.
the biggest one. Honestly,
It's mostly me. It's I look at my dad and I think, well, he's telling me all this stuff, and meanwhile, I'm internally thinking like, yo, the economy is turning out in a way where you're gonna have to work well into your retirement years, and I'm like,
my mom is actually his biggest worry because my dad's not around to take care of her. I will say my brother who's way more financially stable than I is also around, and he's younger than me. Like objectively, I'm not that worried because anything that happens between me and my brother, we can help her out. If it's like I would spend more time, he would spend more money on making sure she's okay, which is already the situation. That's fine.
well, I mean, all right, yeah, you're right.
But yeah, like I do worry about her. Like I don't want her to be scammed. She has a few times and all that.
Yeah, that sucks too. But it's also like, you could control a lot of it because
Yeah.
it's like you could talk to your mom about scams and scammers. You could talk to your mom about like protocol and what to do if this happens and that happens. The only thing is like there's certain shit you can't control. Like what
Yeah.
if a bad policy just brings more looters into a certain neighborhood and suddenly it's like your loved one is just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
That happened a bunch in the 70s. That was a huge issue in the 70s.
It's gonna be a issue now supposedly.
She's in Boston, so I feel like she has a pretty good situation. She's actually very lucky being in Boston because
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not just your mom. There's also like your girlfriend. You know, if
Yeah.
times get. Although I don't know, it's like I think your girlfriend's fine. Like she fits a demographic where she's not really in danger. I don't think.
yeah. For any problems she has, she actually is totally chill.
The
With,
worst thing she has to worry about is probably like cops.
and even then, not really.
Not really. Yeah.
No, because cops can tell very quick. Cops read her as a white woman.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure, like maybe not initially, but after talking to her, I think they do.
Well, it's becoming more like that with Gen Zers in general.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even white or black or Hispanic. It's just Gen Z-ish, Gen Z American.
Yeah.
I mean, the only things that I could see affecting her negatively would just be like non-authority figures. You know.
Yeah, I agreed. Yeah. It's just mental health stuff, broader things.
Is it mental? It's also class, right? You got like dudes in the subway like stabbing people more often these days.
Yeah. Because she grew up in New York, she is actually safer. She's not going to stay on a train car with a schizo to avoid looking racist. She'll get off saying a racial slur herself.
Yeah, I know that. It's just that's what you're supposed to do. You got to be retarded not to be like that in New York City.
Yeah. For any flaws, she's streetwise or street smart. I felt that concern back when I first moved into my house, and there was a refugee center near the house, and I was worried about the two female roommates who were both moved out, and both of them had bad encounter. One girl with both of them did with the refugees. One girl had it with some of the ghetto black guys nearby. Nothing bad happened, thankfully, but it was situations where I was thinking to myself, you should have just not, like, why did you get off at that train stop, even though it's the more direct one? You should have ride the train so to walk home you don't go through the ghetto, you go through the bougie neighborhood. Even if the bougie neighborhood takes 10 more minutes, you just should have gone through the bougie neighborhood.
True.
But no one told them. I should have been aware of it, but
Shit. I guess I just wasn't that cool or something, or maybe I don't know. Maybe it was luck growing up, but I will say this though, there was a noticeable difference in because I took public transportation my whole developmental life,
yeah.
from like young adulthood all the way back to when I was.
That
a
was
kid.
all Giuliani and Bloomberg.
No, I'm just saying, so I've dealt with a lot of shit
Yeah.
Listen, I literally watched a person die on public transportation.
You did,
I watched
yeah.
the kid get fucking stabbed to
Something
death.
way worse than that.
Yeah, so I saw that, but then I started driving
Mhm.
in a car, like living in New York City, and then I realized it's like a completely different world.
Yeah.
It's a different reality or a different frequency or something. It's just like night and day, you know? Because by the time I started driving in New York City is by the time stories started getting more sensationalized on social media.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, New York City's falling apart. Yo, look at all the looting going on. Yo, people are getting stabbed, being set on fire in New York City. Meanwhile, I've been becoming more and more divorced from it because I've been driving more. You know, it's like I hardly take public transportation anymore, which is probably bad. I feel like the mayor of Gotham, it's like I gotta fucking take the subway train.
You should, yeah.
Just
Teddy Roosevelt used to do that. Teddy Roosevelt used, when he was mayor of New York,
It's like,
would go
no,
out.
I gotta take the fucking train. Like, it's been a while. I should do that. I will do that. Because I live so close to the ferry anyway. It's like one short bus ride away. Thomas Wayne
Yeah.
and his wife taking the subway train as billionaires. Like,
Yeah,
fucking
Martha
idiot.
Wayne, yeah.
fucking idiots taking your child with you through like fucking Bushwick
Bushwick, yeah.
in like the 90s.
Yeah.
That's really what it was, probably. Like that's the equivalent of like you're a billionaire and you take your son to like
But you're
Bush.
taking them to like Broadway, not Broadway, whatever, to the movie theater.
Oh, so it's more like
They were going to see a Zorro movie when.
it's more like Bowery,
Yeah, Bowery would probably be it. Yeah.
but still like Bowery in peak '90s. Like yo, you were asking for. Actually, no, that was more like. I mean, if you want to go technical, that was more like '40s.
40s, yeah, or further back, I suppose. Because we're talking about something equivalent to Manhattan.
Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna be you, yeah, and your kids and your wife. Well, your kid and your wife. You're gonna be Thomas Wayne. You're gonna have a wife named Martha, and you're gonna have a son named Bruce.
Yeah, I hope not. Yeah, as cool as it would be to have Batman for a son, that sounds awful.
I mean, Batman didn't really have it that bad. That's what kind of got tiresome. It's like, yeah, your parents got shot in front of you, but you know, I look at like O Block and like actual real life, and I'm like, Bruce, maybe you should just shut the fuck up. Like, it wasn't that terrible. You're still a billionaire kid, you know, and you're still able to do good for Gotham without becoming Batman. You just chose not to.
What are you talking about? He's constantly donating to philanthropies and stuff as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, but he could have also become like a scientist or something. He didn't.
He is a scientist.
That's just. But I think
Yeah, as Homer Simpson says, Batman's a scientist.
I think he's primarily a detective, though.
He's just, I don't know. He's an Ubermensch, where he's a detective,
guess he
martial
is.
artist.
But if you're an Ubermensch, then you could devote your energy to science or like beating the shit out of fucking like lower class people on the streets.
I always find this criticism of Batman faulty because all the things he could be doing, he does anyway as Bruce Wayne.
Beating the shit out.
Wayne's enterprise, Wayne Industries is always engaged in philanthropy. They're always releasing some new miracle cure or whatever.
Yeah.
He's always donating tremendous amounts to charity.
But then it wasn't about Wayne because it's not like Wayne was the owner. Wayne wasn't analogous with Gotham City. Like despite Wayne's philanthropy, the problem was the rot was so bad.
Yeah, the idea is that the rot is so bad and spiritual that he has to take on this vigilante persona to write it.
Well, I mean, even before that, I mean,
Yeah, it's all downstream of his wants noblige oblige.
You know, they should really flesh out the lore better because they could say it like where, you know, back in like Thomas Wayne's time, like times weren't perfect and they weren't like terrible either. They weren't as bad, but there was order. Like the gangsters and the cops, they all had an order and blah, blah, blah. But then that order got broken.
That's been done in a bunch of different Batman comics.
I
Batman,
think that has to be, that's the original, that's more of the original telling then, isn't it?
No, it's not the original telling, not the original one. That's downstream of Year One. Year One from the 80s, I think it's Frank Miller, proposes that Batman's flamboyance leads to an escalation where ordinary criminals are replaced by the rogues gallery that only Batman can handle. That's in The Dark Knight. It's
well, I mean, I do know in Rogue One, I mean, sorry, in Year One, they may not have explicitly said that was a side effect, but it is a strong imply. It can easily be a strong.
That's one of the main points of Year One. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't read it since I was a teen, but I know
Year One wasn't really. I think it was less of a Batman story, more of like a Commissioner Gordon story.
Yeah, it is in a lot of ways. Yeah, it's largely him seeing the world get more comic book like around him.
Well, also, yeah, Yeah, exactly.
He's doing a lot of Tommy Lee Jones and No Country for Old Men.
Because Commissioner Gordon was like coming out of a Spike Lee movie into like a Zack Snyder movie. You know, like.
Yeah, that's which is why he's like such a viewpoint character in it. Yeah.
And he was good in Year One because he was like his wife was pregnant with the son.
Yeah.
And it was all fresh. And Batman. And another thing was the depictions of Batman. I think Year One was important because it showed Batman fucking up. It was like it was kind of like the Daniel Craig 007, like where you see him getting. Like,
yeah, there's a reason why it's so influential, and it is a great story.
My favorite story of Batman personally was Batman and Son, like Batman with
Damian.
Yeah, I like Damian a lot. Only because I like the idea of like Talia date raping Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that it's a good It's just it's audacious. Not
Yeah.
audacious. It is audacious. It's pretty fucked up. You know, it's like you made my boy a rape victim. You know, like
Yeah.
even though it's probably like not that terrible. That's exactly what
Yeah.
they said in the movie. He was like, they alluded to the date rape, and she was like, she backed her ass into him. She was like, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't all bad, was it? He's like, no, it wasn't all bad. And it's like,
Yeah, that is that. Now, Nolan is such an asexual individual. Any attempts of his to depict it in film, just or love or romance or whatever, just feel so flat.
yeah. I've always liked Talia because like multiple artists have depicted Talia al Ghul, and like she's just a sexy character in general, like daughter of a fucking head of League of Assassins, and
She's an old. It's interesting because I think the character's from the 70s, but she's an old, kind of a restrained, old-fashioned, exotic, Orientalist depiction.
was it the part of the original lore for Batman to be trained by Ra's al Ghul?
Not the original Lord.
No, right, of
Ra's
course,
al
yeah.
Ghul is a character from like the 60s or 70s or something.
Yeah, it wasn't.
He's not in Batman the TV show. I'm pretty sure he post-dates it.
Yeah. But they integrated eventually, like Bruce Wayne being trained by Ra's al Ghul before.
Yeah, that's Nolan.
I
I
think
think
bef-
comics too. But
But
yeah,
before the Nolan-esque, we'll call it the Nolan theme. It's like where Ra's al Ghul trained Batman. I think it was originally.
did
where,
your dad like comics, superheroes?
Nah, he was a manga dude. He
Okay, that
he
makes
liked
sense for his
Dragon
age.
Ball and shit. And
My dad was a big comics guy, but he's a boomer, so his knowledge was Silver Age. Like, my dad didn't like Venom in Spider-Man because Venom was a character after his day. My dad had the same complaint about Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins, where he's like, this isn't a Batman villain I'm familiar with.
the reason why it was so so easily integrated, where
Mm-hmm.
Ra's al Ghul could be as like injected as like with the
Mm-hmm.
history of the training and of his ninja skills and shit. It's because before, I think it was original OG lore was that when after Bruce's parents' death, he like wandered off as a young adult, traveled the world like drinking and much like Chris Nolan's depiction, except instead of under the League of Assassins, he ended up in like the Himalayan mountains or something.
Yeah,
Under
it's
the-
a very of its time depiction of Tibet. It's like
yeah. Nolan just like fucking-
honestly, the influence of the Chinese market on superhero movies, there's a big, subtle, but noteworthy influence, which is that Batman and also Doctor Strange are both characters who go to the mysterious Orient, to Tibet, and are trained by a lama. And I suspect pressure from the Chinese market led to recasting characters that otherwise would have been like martial art archetypes.
I don't know, but the MCU had free reign apparently. Like,
Well, that's the reason why Doctor Strange's mentor is Tilda Swinton and not an Asian dude. In the comic, Doctor Strange is taught by a Tibetan guy.
the Grandmaster.
Yeah, and they definitely changed it to an androgynous Irish woman and made it more multiracial, both for American concerns, but also so that it's not a Tibetan.
That's
Because-
actually, yeah, it is. It's kind of a what do you call it? It's a trite way to deal with it, you know.
It's one of multiple ways that American cultural products of the last like 30 years have been influenced by the foreign marketplace. Basically, anything that even references Tibet just doesn't or dodges it. I think in Doctor Strange he goes to Nepal and not Tibet, which is an easy dodge because Nepal is very culturally similar, more Indian than Tibet. But you can depict the same things more or less.
Yeah.
I think they might have done the same thing in Batman Begins, come to think of it. I don't think he goes to Tibet. I think he goes to Nepal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's to basically the movie. If you didn't say Tibet, you kind of get. I think you get dinged or banned in China.
I don't know. I will say, Damian Wayne seems like the most natural and yet contemporary addition to the lore that actually makes sense. You know, Batman, Damian as Robin may not be something you would see in the 40s or the 50s or the 60s or the 70s, but it makes sense in like 50 years later down the line. Like you'd be like, oh yeah, Batman eventually had a son.
I don't know. These stories just accrete lore over time, and comparing it to like the '30s original things, so they weren't thinking about these having the cultural impact they did 70 years down.
I mean,
the line.
comic wise, you prefer DC over Marvel, right?
No, Marvel, except DC's imprints, the big
DC's
works,
better as a mythology than an actual
individual cape stuff, more leaning on Marvel, and there's just a higher number of Marvel heroes that I like.
Well, the universe, I think I prefer Marvel because motherfucker, they got New York City, they got Spider-Man, they got Captain America's a Brooklyn guy, you know, like that's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Steve Rogers, like, you know, like that's fucking dope. Like,
you know, something I think of occasionally and father to son things was having a conversation with my dad and a customer of his who was a greatest generation Jewish guy who looked, acted, and sounded like Stan Lee. But because of his age, he had actually been a DC fan in the 30s.
Yeah,
and
like,
us talking about
Marvel stuff is garbage.
It was just way out. He was an adult when it came out. And he was like, this is purely, you know,
it's like N-word shit to him, you know?
No. It's like, it was kid stuff to him.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was,
and
it wasn't the raw mythological shit that he was used to. It was more so too contemporary to.
It's that to him, comic books were something he read as a boy. He stopped when he was like 12 or whatever, if that. And he never read another comic book past the age of like 12 or something.
So what? It got too raw for him?
This was a man born in like 1920. He's like a grandpa now.
So you prefer MCU? I mean, not MCU. Sorry, the Marvel universe over the DC universe.
I guess, but there's more DC titles and stuff of higher quality that I like. And Batman's my favorite hero.
Batman is an ubermensch.
Yeah,
pretty much. Actually, I've been doing a lot of thinking about Batman because I've been watching a lot of Batman movies. Because every facet of Batman is fascinating. First of all, there's his individual arcs, which are great.
Yeah.
But then there's also his relationship to everyone else in the DC universe, which is also always going to be fascinating because he's still a he's still a human. He's not a meta-human, you know?
Still a human, but he's more capable than most of the meta-humans, yeah.
I do like... All right, so I've been going down a Batman rabbit hole that you might be interested in. So... like around 2016, 17, Warner Brothers had just made a string of like PG-13 to R-rated like animated Batman.
Yeah, I know.
They're so good.
Yeah, because DC has much better cartoons than Marvel.
You're right.
Vastly. Like Marvel stuff was limited to some 90s.
Because of Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Tim Bruce, Batman the Animated Series is better than any.
Dude, I watched these movies and like these new 2016, 17 movies, they all started from a Flash movie. And the Flash movie was Flashpoint Paradox. And the story goes, this was all took place in like, I'm pretty sure it was like Silver Age, like Justice League.
Yeah.
Something happened. Flash decides on a whim to go back in time to save his mom. Breaks the universe. He fixes it. But he fixes it and it's not quite the same. And this is the new universe of this movie arc, and it's really good. Like this whole Batman, and it's basically the comics as we know it. Like we see Batman and Son, great movie. It's literally about Batman meeting Damian the first time. And it's just like in the comics, like where there were multiple comic book depictions of that scene where it's like Batman's like, bitch, did you just date rape me?" You know, like. And she goes crazy. Like it was a sweet romantic scene at first, then it quickly devolves into, yes, our son is going to be like Alexander the Great, leader of the world. And Bruce Wayne flips out. He's like, "Get away from me, you stupid bitch."
Yeah.
The voice, the classic animated bat. "Get away from me."
What is it?
Multiple actors did it, but the common like
Kevin Conroy, the voice actor from the '90s Batman animated series.
Yeah. It started with first the theme song was the Warner Brothers logo then it turns into headlights and
the Danny Elfman score, yeah.
Dick, don't do it. And then Dick always sounds like a bitch, like, "Stop bullying me, Batman. I know what I'm doing."
Mm-hmm.
Dick, you don't know squat. You're still just a little kid. I'm gonna replace you with Jason Todd in the early 2000s.
Jason Todd, I think, is from like the 70s or something.
But they're never gonna depict when he becomes a traumatized Joker paradox.
Yes, he did. That's beneath the red mask.
But it was never. Was it televised on WB11? Like,
I don't know if it was.
or Cartoon Network? I don't think so. I think that was
That's
a little too-
That's one of the later directors.
I think once shit started. Yeah, once
DVD,
shit started.
whatever.
Once DVD
well,
became-
they found a way of having a market for these animated pieces
that were too mature for like
but too
Saturday
immature
morning.
for everyone else. But yeah,
Dick, we're gonna show some blood, so this is gonna be straight to DVD. What are you talking about, Batman? Yeah, Dick always sounded like the impudent, like millennial teenager, while Batman was like the Gen Xer of that series, anyway. Even though that show had cars and technology that looks like it took place in like the fucking like.
well, it's all going down. It's all downstream of Batman the Animated Series from the '90s, which is just such a fantastic piece. The set simultaneously in the 1940s and the 1980s. Era aesthetic. It's just much better. It's
integrated well with everything.
I really like the Tim Burton Batmans, but the cartoon is such a better topping.
It's charming and it's widely appealing. It's like also it's like how it integrated seamlessly with the Metropolis show.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about Gotham is I think as a city, like you look at all the depictions of the cityscape, it was more expansive than Metropolis. Like Gotham was gigantic. It's like New York City times 5, honestly. You looked at like the actual like panoramic view of like Gotham and it's unbelievably huge. Which kind of I like that because it lends more credence to why Gotham would be like fucked up.
Yeah.
It's just as dense as New York City but like 5 times the size. That's pretty sick. But again, Marvel has New York City. Marvel has all the cities we love and enjoy. Actually, Marvel is mostly just New York City, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mostly New York City.
It's pretty much just a
like
whole...
all the big Marvel stuff is heavily if they depict a city because Spider-Man, X-Men are in upstate New York.
Are they in upstate?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes
it's
sense.
supposed to be upstate New York, yeah.
It's beautiful,
Fantastic
it's
Four, what?
It's perfect.
Iron Man. Other things are throughout the American countryside, whatever, but like that's the big city.
That's interesting. We live in the Marvel City.
Well, it's very... yes. I don't know. That was a factor as a kid wanting to move to New York was Marvel.
Really?
Marvel, Ghostbusters, Gargoyles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All these things made me want to be a New Yorker from a very young age.
The only thing I don't like about the comic depictions of New York City, especially Marvel or any comic, it's that, well, my personal relationship with it is I feel like I didn't get down with like the underground, the subterranean level of the city enough.
Yeah, and also they're depicting perhaps a fantasy version, a much older version of New York City. This is why I voted for Curtis Lewa. Was in the hopes that he would turn it back to the 1980s.
I would like, well, regardless of like the cultural vibe, I'd want to get more down with the subterranean level of New York City and the upper levels of it.
Yeah, you want to do the bell curve meme, but within New York City's populace, either the highs or the lows.
I want to do parkour and I want to surf like a Ninja Turtle in the sewers. I mean, that's really what it is. Like, that's another reason why Spider-Man was great, because like he may not be able to fly, but swinging through New York City is probably way more fun than flying through New York City.
Yeah, thematically, yeah. He's very grounded within New York, even though he ends up being this broader character.
Because he's not just like Tarzan swinging through the city jungle. He's more like he'll like do like a barrel roll through like a fucking a bus where the doors open or a train that
this
opens
is all
just in
power
time.
level stuff, but like Spider-Man is bridging two different power gaps but due to popularity, he does. He's both dealing with the highs and the lows of superhero power levels.
It's a shame that DC never didn't hit the real life movie scene quite like the Marvel did.
Yeah, they have a bunch of good Batman movies and then nothing else. Like, the original Superman was very influential and very profitable. But, yeah, the DC have, I mean, they don't have the Marvel for like...
They don't have...
Marvel for like 15 years.
They don't have Favreau or whatever his fucking name is.
Jon Favreau, yeah. Marvel for 15 years was just the most brilliant, hugely successful films in human history.
I think
like
so.
just consistently what they pulled off with it.
No one probably will do that in their lifetime, honestly.
No, never. It was a unique factor, and honestly, Jon Favreau pulled off an incredible achievement of good enough mediocrity with the MCU films. And I will say, you know what? I will say, having kids, like having a boy, I bet it would be great to just tell my 5-year-old watch every single Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Like, as opposed to them just rewatching the same movies over and over again in the background, like you just have a kid, whoa, I just have a perfect, huge block of entertainment for him.
Years and years actually worth.
And he'll rewatch them, great, good. And we can talk about them and I'm mostly engaged, whatever.
And then I'll be like, and then even if he becomes an expert on the movies, I'll be like, all right, but did you read the comics though? You know, and that's another whole rabbit hole.
I can be appreciative in advance of being able to tell a son, maybe this is a fancy of mine, telling a son about how I went to see a bunch of MCU movies with my dad who read the comic books back in the day.
Yo, the MCU movies stretch so far in my life where I saw it with childhood friends. I saw it with girls I fucked. I saw it with like people I hated. It was like 15 years of consistent, good enough entertainment that you could see in the theaters with throughout multiple stages of your life.
Yeah,
to grow up with the MCU is truly a privilege.
Yeah.
The only thing I wonder is what could possibly top the MCU. I'm trying to think. Like some cinematic universe, shared universe. Like what could possibly be better than that?
There's a particular thing, a particular time and place.
I'm trying to think. Like,
I think there's a great cultural significance because you know that like every single Latino went out to see those movies. Latinos love the MCU.
I think black people love it too.
Yeah, Latinos more so than blacks.
And to an undeniable degree. Like
Texas, literally block, but it's like you'll have
California.
It's like 30% of like the opening audience of these movies when Latinos like 17% of the population, like 30% of the audience to see like an MCU movie every opening night was like Latino for years on end.
That's why they love like Ant-Man, when it had that Mexican guy in it.
I don't even know if that's true.
They had a lot of Hispanic flavored MCU stuff now. Like Miles Morales and shit.
Yeah, it's probably not as appealing to them as if it's like blonde Aryan men. Like Captain America and stuff is what Latinos want to see on screen, not Luis Guzman.
Luis Guzman, that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yo, the most Hispanic cape shit thing I saw recently was Blue Beetle.
Mm-hmm. That hugely that did terribly in box office. I know,
really bad.
Yeah,
really bad. But yeah, man. I mean, trying to think of another shared universe, a possible cinematic. It's probably going to be something more meta. Like, it's going to be like, oh, why? Like Osmongold, Joe Rogan, fucking Hassan Piker,
yes,
and
all the charisma and talent and beauty that used to go into Hollywood now goes into streaming,
and they're gonna be in the same stream. What?
Like, yeah, this is leaning to Sweet Anita. You said whatever.
Or it's probably gonna be like you're gonna have like cartoons of these people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, you guys watched the Joe Rogan cartoon, Because as what Hollywood actors did, they started producing cartoons. So like Mike Tyson's got it. He's the first. Will Stancil is another example.
Well, he's not producing the Will Stancil show, but yes.
Yeah, this is what it's going to all eventually turn into. On a personal level, though, I mean, you're optimistic, right?
Yeah.
You're optimistic about media, right?
No, I'm not. I'm
No.
optimistic about a lot of other things, but I'm not optimistic about media.
Why?
But I don't know, I like movies, man. I see Hollywood as being a dead industry. I find AI stuff, even though it's amusing for brief jokes, I'm not wild about it. I'm not wild about the prospect of personal. I'm wild about the prospect of personalized entertainment choices because I want to see someone else's vision.
Yeah, that's always your thing. It's like, I mean, you've always come off as a person that's like very concerned with like analyzing, breaking down, and consuming another person's vision. What about your vision? Don't you have any of your own creative visions?
I've always said no, but I really should stop.
Yeah, because you have me, man. I could help you with all
Yeah.
sorts of my productive talents. At least start with writing. Writing is like the greatest output you could start with. Yeah. With that, I guess we could close it up.
Yeah.
You got any closing statements?
I don't.
What about writing? If you had one thing to say about writing, what would you say?
Start doing it tomorrow, Carmen. Okay.
All right. Anyway, good night,
Good
folks. We love you.
I love you.